This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hi, it's me, QAnon-adjacent celebrity Sylvester Stallone. Were you aware that these lousy shitheads called We Hate Movies get off on making fun of my movies, voice, and rumored sexual fetishes? It's true. What's worse is they're going to be doing this live in front of an audience in the Northeast in just a few short weeks. Apparently, these chuckle fucks are going to be in Boston on April 24th talking about The Escape Plan, one of my favorite movies because I was paid to look at my mortal enemy, Arnold Schwarzenegger, for just a few months. The hardest check I ever collected, believe you me. Then they have the gall to go to Washington, D.C. on April 26th to talk about my criminally underrated film, Stop 'Em, My Mom Will Shoot. To that, I say, enjoy it, I guess. I like that movie. No, you know what? I fucking love that movie. Then, and this one hurts the most, the next day on April 27th, they're going to be in Philadelphia to take jabs at Rocky V, the most personal and excruciatingly boring, excellently exciting Rocky movie. So there you have it. Just a little tour in the Northeast that you should not go to. Do not go to whmpodcast.com/tour to get your tickets because that would hurt my feelings. Me, Sylvester Stallone, who is actually reading this ad. Please don't go to whmpodcast.com/tour and see We Hate Movies live in the Northeast in just a few short weeks. All of my friends are already gone.
This week on the program, break out your bags of bogus blue blood and get chugging, because we're talking Morbius. I'm Andrew Jupin.
Steven Sadak.
Eric Siska.
Lucien.
And we hate movies. Hello, everyone. Welcome to We Hate Movies. Thank you for tuning into this very special emergency episode.
Hong Kong.
We are coming to you just a few days after the release of Morbius, directed by Daniel Espinosa, who you may know as the director of Snabba with Joel Kinnaman, which was a Swedish crime thriller.
No, thank you.
Executive produced by Martin Scorsese for some reason. This motherfucker did Safe House with Denzel and Ryan Reynolds.
That's probably the best of the bunch because the other one is Life.
Life.
Boo,
Yep.
boo,
Totally.
What's
That
this
movie.
fella's name again?
Daniel Espinosa.
Espino.
Yeah, no, it's just the name, though, so your joke doesn't
Yeah,
work.
I know. That's okay.
The reason for this emergency episode was this movie got announced like 2018 or 2019, and immediately, like, I feel like I was in the street and I was like, well, that's a terrible idea. Like, and
You stopped dead on Fifth Avenue and you were like, guys, does anybody else see this? Bad idea.
And I've just been desperately waiting, and the pandemic moved this around quite a bit. And then also, I think Sony was like, fuck, what are we going to do with this?
Well, also, clearly Jared Leto's demand in his contract that nobody else shoot a scene with him ever in any part of this movie.
There's a lot of him just alone in this
a lot
movie.
of close-ups, like cut to him close-up, cut to somebody else close-up.
Well, this is a question, though, that I just thought when you were saying your bit there, Steve, about the production, being announced in 2018 or whatever. Was it like we made this a long time ago and it got shuffled because of the pandemic, or was this like a pandy production?
No, this was made in 2019.
Okay,
ready to come out in 2020.
Got it.
And then
Okay.
the pandemic went nuts, and it's been 2 some odd years.
This is an interesting character. I want to, if there's new listeners joining us, don't worry. Steven Sadak is a Morbo export. Expert, not export. But if we sent you overseas, you'd be a Morbo export.
He's a morbidly enthusiastic Morbius fan.
Don't say it.
More enthusiast.
Yeah, it's
So what's your connection with this character? Because you know about the character. I didn't know any of this shit.
And you were very excited about this release, like even before we thought we were going to do an episode.
Folks, he won't stop talking about it. Like you hear it on the air, but we hear it every day about Morbius.
It's like because it's just so stunning to me. He is a D-list Marvel character, like absolute D-list
Right.
Yeah.
Marvel villain, sort of anti-hero that doesn't make much sense outside of either Blade or Spider-Man. They're like, let's give him his own movie. Let's get 2 hours on this guy who can't sell a fucking comic book.
I might argue that it almost feels like a troll.
Yeah.
Like it kind of feels like Marvel's like, we're never going to make a Batman movie.
Mhm.
So why don't we make a shitty vampire movie that's half a Batman movie, essentially? I mean, the fucking him in the bat, like
Yeah.
The tank, the
tank
bat
with the
tank.
I'm like, that is literally like a shot from Batman Begins of like the fucking
And the
bats going up.
score is like almost
Exactly.
the score is
Let's talk about the first scene real quick. He's going into a bat cave. He's got a helicopter pilot that he's hired. Then we cut back to 25 years earlier. When does this take place? Is this after the events of the film where he goes to this bat cave, or is this where he gets the bats initially?
This
and
is
we're
where
cutting
he-
back and forth.
There's some gobbledygook line about like these specific bats have learned to something and they survive only on blood.
Right.
Mm.
And he's like trying to harness a bunch of them. So,
So
this
these
is
are the
before
bats he puts in the bat tank.
Yes, these are the bat tank. Yes, exactly. Those are the bats that he uses to make this thing that he wins the Nobel Prize for and tells them to go fuck themselves.
Which is all right. So first of all, we have an Arachnophobia opening, which I really appreciate.
That's true,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah. No, wait. Question about this before we get away from it, because Eric, you mentioned the helicopter,
Yeah.
and someone was joking about the poster on Twitter about how like there was the helicopter in the middle of the poster, and it was like, oh, this helicopter is going to play a big part of the movie. It's just this one little prologue scene.
But this prologue scene was really pumped up in all the trailers.
Yes.
Him coming to this bat cave was like a big
dude,
part of the
it's
trailers.
like 35 seconds long.
And I thought these people were being murdered by
Yes.
the bats, and then we we leave that thread. We never pick it up again. I guess they weren't.
Well, no, I mean, like, that's the thing. It would be great if it was an arachnophobia scene and somebody died
Yes.
because they came in contact with these things.
or like this is like, you know, the opening of Raiders or
Well,
some
that's
shit.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the intro to me was more Jurassic Park, like let's go to this specific
Shoot!
place.
Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
Well, instead of dino DNA, we get bat DNA.
Bat DNA.
I kind of want these other guys to all have like little bat cages and like, all right, and get as many as you can, and just like if you can get 10 in a cage,
Yeah.
great. If you
Yeah.
get 20, even better. And then they're just kind of like scrangling for
Dude, get
bats.
as many bats in this cage as you can, and then we'll translate that to money for school supplies, American teachers.
Health insurance? No, that's not gonna be happening. Just if they bite you, just ibuprofen. That's usually good.
Speaking of health insurance, the whole he Dr. Michael Morbius
Yep, that's his name. That's
Um,
actually his name.
invents fake blood, and it's like
Fake
a
blood.
Theranos Elizabeth Holmes
Yeah.
type
Yes.
of thing.
It's blue milk too. It looks like blue
Yeah,
milk.
dude, it kind of dealing like some Star Wars blue milk that he's chugging throughout this movie.
I can't believe we're actually pretty going on this episode. We missed the best part of the movie, which are the vaporwave Nicholas Winding Refn as
Yep.
opening credits.
Yep.
Where like, oh, color.
Best part of the
Oh.
movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's bookended with this title sequence, and whoever did it, God bless you, did the only worthwhile thing in this movie.
I will say I also weirdly I don't understand what they are. But those trails of energy that come off
I don't
them,
get that either.
but it's colorful.
the vaccine shedding.
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah,
what
yeah.
it looks like when you're shedding vaccine.
It gives you a vapor ghost that just comes off your body.
Oh, I'm not going to take a Michael Morbius vaccine. No, thank you. I like my nose to be protruding, not dug into my face. Thank you very much.
Oh, you trust Horizon. You want to know the history of Horizon? I got a podcast for you. Listened to by exactly 7 people.
once we do get into the powers and that trail stuff comes off, I guess are they trying to like look like Venom in some way?
Yeah.
Yes,
Maybe
they
'cause
want
this is sort of connected.
We like goopy stuff in Sony.
Yeah.
So
Right.
we,
But that was a splash of color. Like I was like, that at least is keeping my eye.
Because it's
like,
this really like rich purple.
Yeah.
It looks very cool.
That's true. But
Color wise, but yeah, he's just
needs-
shedding that vaccine.
you got vampires fighting in this movie, the sexiest fighters of all time, and that we resort to that marvelization of just gloop fighting each other,
No.
yeah.
and it
Two
seems
cartoons.
like nothing. Yeah,
It's just two cartoons.
You know how sexy vampires are?
You're
Then
totally
they
right.
could cut a rug too.
I wrote on my notes because especially at the part where like he kisses her and like even when he feeds on her later and she's good looking and depending on who you are, Jared Leto is good looking, I guess. And it's just like the unsexiest vampire movie I've ever seen.
It's
Absolutely.
incredible.
It's very Spider-Man-esque fighting. Like I mean,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
good reason.
Yeah.
But like also the slow motion shots and all those very Zack Snyder-esque.
Mm.
The like when
Yeah.
like you catch like a punch in mid, like Matt Smith as vampire
Well,
zombie.
Here's the thing. I don't think that's an accident because Matt Smith and Jared Leto's characters are jawing all through this movie about how they're fucking the Spartans and this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
And there's a downright slow motion shot of Matt Smith, dumbest look on a human being's face possible.
Oof.
Slow-mo running with that spear. He's trying
Yeah.
to throw it at Jared Leto. That's just a shot from 300.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It looks
Oh
very
my
similar.
God, it's rancid.
One line that I really have to hit because it's one of my favorite. It made me laugh out loud in theater. Was he comes out of the helicopter, Morbius does, and he's got this rare blood disease, which I don't think is even real. Maybe it is. You can yell at me on Twitter, but like and he has two like walking crutches, and this guy next to him is like, do you need a doctor? And it's like, well, no, I've been doing this my whole life. I mean, like, I don't need that didn't happen in the helicopter.
Yeah, did you ask me that at the helipad when we took off? Did you just notice I have these two
Wait,
walking
no,
crutches?
This is for the audience. I am a doctor. Isn't
Oh,
that wild?
yeah,
Is that
totally.
fucking
crazy?
What? Somebody like you can be a doctor?
It actually has a lot in common with Dr. Giggles when you think about it.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, the doctor heals thine self. And
You know,
he also
this
You're gonna
is
turn me
people.
into Dr.
now
Giggles,
we've
yeah.
got it. We could bring these all into the ICU, Eric.
Yes,
you
the
get the Stalked by the
Doctor-verse
Doctor. You
universe.
get Dr. Morbius in there. You get Dr. Giggles. You get
Dr.
the dentist
Strange has
happening,
to be
Dr.
the head of the
Strange.
whole
Dr.
thing.
Hannibal Lecter can do the
Yeah.
catering.
Exactamundo.
Oh my God, Michael Morbius, you're drinking a cool looking blue drink there.
I can't help but notice you don't like to bite 14-year-old girls. That's kind of a bummer for me,
Now
Albert Beck.
Now let me ask you: does your fake blood have any hypnosis qualities, any suggestibility that could be elevated through your fake blood? I would love some of that.
Or in a pinch, is it gonna help me out with my weak boners?
For our stalked by my doctor movies, check out our Patreon.
Yeah.
Exactly. The structure is really super weird, especially at the beginning, because like, yeah, it's the Bat Cave. You don't know what's going on, and like all these bats rush towards them, and you're like, okay. And then it says 25 years earlier, we're in Greece, which the character, the comic book character, is Greek. In
Really?
Who,
Yes.
Michael Morbius?
Yes, that's
And
he's
he-
What?
Yes. Oh yeah.
So this kid here in Greece is supposed to be Greek, and
I
then
don't
Jared
think so.
Harris, who's got the School for Wayward Blood Kids.
Jared Harris, who is here to die.
Totally,
Like literally, that's it.
He's
Yeah.
the headmaster at Bad Blood University.
Yeah.
And there's some line about it. He's like, "Well, I'm going to send you to New York City. Look, you weren't supposed to be able to reset the blood majigger."
The thing that when we get to the start of this Grease scene that I was like, is this movie going to be all of this? And this is the only time it happens, so it's kind of worse. It's like all the bats come at Jared Leto's face, like in Costa Rica, and it cuts to black. We do a fucking iris in on
Yes,
this island, and I
yeah.
was like, oh, that's how we're handling transitions in this movie? Nope, that's just the only time that happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, he is in this hospital. This is where he meets his little buddy Milo, who will grow up to be played by Matt Smith.
Well, he's
a pretty-
Lucian first. Like, well, you're Milo for some reason. It's
dude.
like,
So okay, I what is that?
I
Is
don't
his name Lucian Milo? Milo Lucian?
no, it's just Lucian. And he's like, you're Milo. And he's like, well, no, it's actually Lucian. And it's like, well, no, the kid.
Milo.
And he's like, well, is it the kid before was Milo? It's like, no, well, you're like the fourth Milo. There's always a Milo
the
here. It's like,
fuck?
what the fuck is this little creep up to?
That's okay. I didn't get any of that. I didn't understand.
Oh,
it
you're
at all.
Milo. You look just like Milo.
Yeah, do your hair like Milo did it.
Oh yeah, look at that painting of Milo.
I gave you this. Look, here's some bed fittings for you. Just look like Milo.
Oh, I'm on the top of a building now, and there's purple stuff coming out of me. Got vertigo.
Oh my God, Milo, you fell into the bay.
Oh, Milo. Oh, the last Milo died. You have to die too. Don't you understand that?
Oh, Vertimilo, the movie with Alfred Hitchcock.
Milo. So, and this is the Steve and I had a hearty laugh. We saw this together last night. We had a hearty laugh in the theater. He's basically like, okay, now I guess my name is Milo. What? And this little kid just hilariously keels over.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wonderful.
And it's like this weird, but this is where there's a weird montage of what it's like to live at Blood U, where like he's like, oh yeah, you can't go outside. All the Greek kids are gonna make fun of you.
Yeah, they're gonna beat the shit out of you.
I cannot believe that this is Greek erasure. Then I don't see a feta. I don't see any mention of Anthony Quinn nowhere.
Where's some Saganaki, dude?
Yeah, please, come on, anything.
But I mean, like I guess he's an American in Greece and he's a Brit in Greece because it's like the best blood place for their whatever.
Or maybe it's
you
like,
need to tell me that.
listen, I mean, maybe it's a thing where it's like, dude, we got to set this hospital up in Greece because there's some real funky illegal shit going on. We can't have this in the UK, man.
I'm replacing their blood with olive oil.
They're going to shut us down for all these blood experiments we're
No,
doing.
Yes, you get a tax credit that goes directly to Germany still. I'm sorry.
Andrew, you mentioned seeing the movie with Steve. I think we should briefly
please, yeah.
mention our theater
Oh
experiences.
yes, yeah. We saw
definitely.
this on opening night, Thursday,
yeah, baby.
March 31st, and now today's April Fools. You saw Morbius.
It is a great fucking trolling.
So, like, from my experience, I just went to a kind of a rundown movie theater. There was nobody in the theater forever. Eventually, two people did show up. One guy with, you could tell he was a Morbo head, you know?
Oh, yeah, you
He had
said
the
it's those guys.
biggest tub of popcorn I ever saw. I didn't even know they had the industrial vat version at this theater. And then the other guy, just, you know, he came in a little late. I did not think another soul would grace the theater on opening night.
Like a little late, like into the feature late.
Like
Like,
yeah,
did he
like
miss the
probably
Batcave?
like during the vaporwave credits.
Okay.
and
got it.
then he walked out during the end fight.
that
That's-
guy's got
yeah.
the right idea.
Smart move, I
so,
would say.
so what were your guys? How was your audiences?
So I went to a theater in Danbury, an AMC. I went to
Mhm.
the first showing at this
How
theater.
far is that from your house, and what's your address?
Well, that's exactly 25. Wait a minute.
And what's your social security number?
Wait a minute.
One of these days he's gonna fall for it.
What's your,
keep trying.
What's your phone number?
You already know that. Shut up.
No, yeah, you know,
Um,
I could read that to people right now.
No, you
Good
bastard.
point.
Stop it.
Let me pull it up.
555.
So I was at the AMC Danbury, and I had about 7 people in my screening. They all came in during the credits. There was a family.
518. No, I'll stop.
So I had a family behind me.
A family. What
Yeah.
kind of? What are we talking? Like olderish kids,
No,
little kids?
About like 9-10-year-old.
That's
Any blood
insufferable.
problems? You think?
blood problems?
Yeah, and these kids, they look like.
Finally, a movie for
Yeah,
us.
exactly. Do they look pale as fuck?
No, he
Couple
was.
of Milos in the
Yeah,
theater.
exactly.
He was going up and down the theater staircase. I think he was trying to get some exercise. during
Oh
the
well,
showing.
yeah.
Get
it
the
was-
blood flowing.
Yeah, and he was with his family. They were definitely on the fucking phones the whole time. But they're behind me, so I
Sure,
don't really care.
Right.
They're not making much noise. There is this father and his daughter about 3 rows ahead of me. This guy gets up at least 4 times before the movie actually starts, and
Wow.
his ass is out.
What?
Like
plumber ass?
Look, I've had plenty of plumber ass.
Sure.
This was much more than that.
Wow.
This was
Full
about
moon?
a third of the
Full
cheek.
Yeah.
About
Really?
like he just wasn't thinking about it. I could just like he was probably there specifically just to hang out with the kid, I imagine.
Sure.
But like because what happened was the movie gets in like maybe 10 minutes in, like we're kind of ending the grease part,
Mhm.
and they leave.
Yeah.
They just immediately leave. And a part of me wonders if they were one of those people who just wanted to see the Across the Spider-Verse trailer.
Oh,
maybe.
Interesting. Or
that
was it
could
a
be.
pants malfunction? Which is like,
It's
we gotta
possible.
get home. We gotta get home.
I gotta go. My ass is hanging out here.
Oh God, honey, they ran away. It's just me and my jockeys.
He just turns to his daughter and he's got like all these pieces of the belt buckle. He's like, what do I do?
You've got to catch it, Darlene. You got to go find my pants.
I'm gonna go to jail.
Everybody else stayed in the theater. Thank God.
So how many people were there?
There were probably like 7, 8.
7, 8. Wow. As you guys, how about you
We
guys?
had a later showing of Morbius. We're at the Alamo Draft House downtown.
Late night, a little rowdy, bunch of people. I'm sure it was packed.
Dude, I thought. Listen, here's
Wall
the
to
thing.
wall
You know, you're going to a fucking draft house, and like, say what you want about that chain, it can attract some of the most insufferable nerds of all time.
Sure.
And like, I go there.
That's why I go there.
Yeah, I go there to see those comic book movies, but it's also like some people watching shit, and I was like, here we go. Bring out the nerds. Let there be geeks. And we walk into the theater, and there's like 3 people, and it's like, okay. Maybe it'll fill out. By the time the movie ended, like I did a quick turnaround when the lights came up, there was like 12 people in this auditorium. And I will say, by the way, I don't think I've ever experienced this. This movie hits credits, multiple people audibly booing. Just audibly booing in the theater.
Yeah, like it was after the second stinger, because I think that's what everybody was waiting for. Is like, how is this going to tie into whatever? When is this going to become something I actually enjoy?
Yes.
And then they realized that it was all a fucking bait and switch. So they're like, boo.
Yeah, I kept expecting Michael Keaton to have some kind of role. He's the second cast member on IMDb.
He is. And he's in the trailers, right?
He's prominently in the trailer, prominently in the later commercials, because they want to trick you into seeing this movie, which is why, I mean, both Stinger scenes are Vulture related, which is also an odd turn for Stinger
Which
scenes.
is also one of them. He's in full Vulture gear, so he's not there for that. He did
definitely
He did like an hour on this movie.
He's in a fucking phone booth somewhere.
Yeah.
That's the
those
thing. That
lines.
feels like a voiceover. I would even imagine that being like one of their computer generated fucking Keaton-esque fucking voice.
Jesus, if we're doing that for man.
Because why wouldn't you show him in that? I don't understand what, like, because you think that thing looks cool.
It almost feels like they did a stinger with Michael Keaton. I'm sorry,
Yes.
we're talking about the very end of the movie now. If they did a stinger with Michael Keaton, and then they were like, well, it's not enough. We need another stinger, and we need him looking like Vulture because people forgot. Spider-Man Homecoming was a while ago.
Sure.
Well,
yeah.
He needs to be shown in armor, which I guess we might as well just talk about it now.
Okay,
right?
yeah. Let's maybe do this because it's kind of like a thing to talk about, and then we'll talk about more.
Because it's also not related to the movie
It's
at
not
all.
at all.
Like,
Yeah.
Not even a little.
So Michael Keaton appears in prison in this other world because of the
There's like
Doctor
the
Strange
dimensional
thing.
rift is shown, or whatever
Right.
the hell you want to call it.
And
Which looks like it was done on a PC. Like
it does look pretty
that looks
cheap.
really
some
bad.
screensaver
And
shit.
it's just him in a prison outfit, like, hope they have better food here than at my prison.
And-
Good. Hey, is that good enough?
And then I guess in this universe, no one knows who the fuck he is. So they're like, I guess let this guy out of jail. I don't even know how he got in here.
That's the whole thing. Yeah,
There's
like
a New York One report about who he is, and I'm like, this is a Stinger
Piece of
scene.
shit.
What are we
Yeah.
talking about?
And then
insane.
presumably he has to leave there and perfectly recreate his costume
That's-
from the other universe.
That's the thing. He is coming from the Tom Holland universe to this one. So that, of course, raised. I was seeing this on Twitter last night. Like, so which Spider-Verse is this? Is it Andrew Garfield? Is it Tom? Like, who gives a shit? But like, that's the same question I had. Was like, so he just perfectly designed the Vulture suit again? Like, where was Tinkerer helping him out with all that shit?
That's true.
But also, we've also know for sure that Vulture's a bad guy.
Sure.
It's been made clear, like an understandable bad guy. You know, Michael Keaton did the script was good.
Yeah.
With giving him some humanity as well. The whole fucking Morbius movie is about how he's a good guy.
Yes, yeah.
And then like at the end, he's like, oh, villain guy. Yeah, let's be villains. Let's absolutely. Oh, what a spider? What?
That's
what's
Yeah.
that?
I
'cause
did
that's
not
the-
know he was supposed to be a villain. Morbius, I did not know he was a villain.
He was a villain, then turned into an anti-hero, and then kind of walks between the two, kind of,
Okay.
because he's a living vampire. He's like a reluctant vampire. I think eventually he's like, I'll only feed on evil people and yada yada. So that's like, you know, are you into that? Or are you not into
A
that?
Dexter vampire.
Kind of a Dexter vampire. But the thing is, like, so the second Stinger scene is like this fucking Matthew McConaughey whiskey commercial where like Michael Morbius is driving in the desert.
Yeah, what are we in outside of Vegas or
And
something?
like Morbius, who's never driven a car before, like, you know what I mean? It's not even like he's not known.
Is that
to be
why
driving
you like him?
Relatability.
and then like he stops in the middle of the road for no reason, and then Michael Keaton's cartoon comes out, and he's like, "Hey, I don't know how I got in this world, but I think Spider-Man was involved. I think I want us to, a couple of guys like us could team up." And he's like, "I'm listening," and I'm like, "Are you?" That's when the booze happens.
Yeah. May I interest you in possibly killing a teenager?
No, why? Who? What's a Spider-Man? Who are you? What is going on?
It's kind of crazy.
Are you a vampire? I'm a vampire.
Like this whole exchange is so terrible, and like they really didn't bother to do the fucking full-on Tombstone pile driver line of have him be like, "Yeah, I don't know, it's something to do with Spider-Man. What do you say we team up and get down to something sinister?"
Yes.
Like, just do it. Just
Yeah.
do the thing that everybody can see you trying to piece together, but no one's going to give a fuck about when you do it anyway.
I assume this world that they're in is the Venom world, just
It
because
is.
he will have to be
You know what?
like.
I think I realized the Sinister Six or whatever.
Yeah.
They're gonna make that the Suicide Squad for
I
the
guess so. That
the
makes
Marvel
sense. Yeah, that
version.
makes sense.
Wouldn't this be the Garfield averse?
It would-
Because they sort of tease Sinister Six at
In-
the end of that
and they
second
teased all that
Spider-Man.
lasagna. They were teased lasagna as well.
Dude, if I would watch a movie of Andrew Garfield just eating a tray
Yeah.
of lasagna.
Oh, totally.
I hate Mondays. No, the thing. I mean, no, I don't think it is because I mean, I think that for all intents and purposes, the universe is closed except for now it's
Right.
now it's reopened with the last Spider-Man movie.
Well, because also, right, because in that movie, don't you see Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock in a stinger scene or
no,
something?
you do not.
Where is that from?
That's at the end of No Way Home.
Oh, that's
yes, yeah.
that's what I was saying. Yeah.
Venom
Yeah, oh,
comes into the MCU, drops some of his goop, and then
goes
goes back.
back to his universe. And now there's goop in Marvel. He splooges in the Marvel universe and comes back.
so that
Okay.
they can have their own Venom. That's a different actor. I
probably
guess.
Look,
a cheaper actor.
Look, I just missed Michelle Williams, okay? So I let a little bit of my Venom splooge in the other universe.
The Vulture thing, though, is really Marvel doing. Yeah, you can use it.
Yeah.
It's like they asked, like, who can we get? Like, we want to have something to tie in with this thing and blah blah blah. I was like, "Are you got anything for Mike?" Like, no, we're good. Yeah, just take. I don't know, Mike. You busy? Not really.
I mean, if the Doctor Strange trailer is any sign, they are about to go absolutely buck wild with
with
the
all this
fucking
crossing,
X-Men
yeah,
shit.
we'll see.
should you tell him what the movie's planning to do? Patrick Stewart
Oh, I hope-
Strange.
Welcome, Michael Morbius. Oh, isn't everyone excited?
You know that thing that you hate about the Marvel movies? Get ready for a lot more of it.
I thought what you did rejecting the Nobel Peace Prize was quite brave, young
All right,
man.
cool, let's go
Very
back.
dope.
Wait, so Professor X with Patrick Stewart's going to be in Doctor Strange. I didn't see any whatever.
He's
trailer
in the
this was.
trailer. You see Doctor
Really,
Strange is
like-
going before some like council.
Tribunal.
Yeah, and you just hear Patrick Stewart's like, "Oh, should we tell him?"
Oh my god.
Yeah, dude.
So, all right, so back to Morbius.
Yeah.
sure.
Cave, we see Milo, and then Jared Harris is like, "Oh, by the way, you're so special. You should go to America to be even smarter."
Is
And
Jared Harris footing the bill for this education? By
I
the way,
have no idea who he is. He's
Yeah.
just,
What's
just
his
a doctor.
name? I don't know.
Nobody knows.
I
He's
just-
there to die.
Dr. Douchebag.
I watched it yesterday. What is his name?
Look,
What is your name?
Look.
Tell me.
all smart, sick boys go to America. It's the best place for smart, sick boys.
You can't stay here with us in Greece where we all talk like this, I guess.
I mean, you're allergic to olives, so you clearly cannot stay.
You have a smart, sick boy like Vito Corleone. Remember, he went to America. He was sickly. He had to stay in the little Ellis Island hospital for a bit. Remember that movie, Mr. Morbius?
Remember how he was a good guy?
Sickly white geniuses go to America.
So he gives Morbius on his way out, gives Milo a origami something, a note in origami, and that's like sort of Morbius's calling card is origami, which is kind of a boring calling card. We've seen that in movies before.
The
But,
only
No.
reason it's a calling card is because he accidentally, one falls on the floor
Yes.
in a place that becomes a crime scene in a few minutes, and Tyrese picks it up and is like, "Well, you look at that. That's it. That's as far as that goes with the origami calling card.
I have to say that the canary in the coal mine with the Batman shit is absolutely the fucking James Gordon-esque, the fucking Al Madrigal fucking character.
You're totally right. The glasses and the mustache.
It's just and the way he carries himself is also very Gordon-esque. It's unbelievable to me.
I could never tell from this detective team like who was supposed to be the lead guy, like Tyrse or Al.
No idea.
And I don't know that the movie really decides, but it's like
Nobody cares.
Al Madrigal's the one kind of trying more.
Yes.
I guess is the idea.
Tyrese has that great line of like, "Sir, thank you for your fake blood. It saved my arm in Afghanistan."
Oh, right.
So his fake blood was invented prior to the war in See, that's the problem. It's trying to tie down when did the war in Afghanistan happen? Oh, right, it was 50 years long.
So yeah, it's happening now. Well, actually, now it's finally not happening.
Well, if this is supposed to be happening now, like in current day, like if the main so you're saying that
this movie was made before we pulled out of Afghanistan.
Actually, that's fair.
he'd be in Greece in like what, the early 90s?
Yeah,
I guess
they said
so.
25 years earlier, so he'd be in the early 90s. But so he gives him this origami note. It's like, "I'll see you soon, Milo." It falls out the window. My favorite scene is Milo getting a kid. I mean, like, I don't know, man. People are bullies and it sucks. But a kid with crutches, you're gonna really start bullying this kid.
Yeah.
And we are like fucking Robert De Niro kicking this kid.
But it's so funny, though. I know it's bad, but like he's like, "Please give me back my letter," and he's getting his ass kicked. It's great.
And then he starts like beating this kid half to death with his crutches. And that's how you realize that he's sort of gonna be the evil one.
yeah,
obviously.
like as soon as I saw that swipe, dude,
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, here's our villain."
And I
Got it.
kind of want to see, him turn this big fat Greek kid to jelly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really going for it. Then Jared Harris can be like, "Oh, now break up that fight, you
And
two."
then he could be like, "Oh, well, we have to. He's dead. Oh no, we'll put this under the rug. We'll take his blood and put it in you."
Take him to the furnace. That's the only place we can really get rid of him.
But then we cut to the Nobel Prize, and he's getting the Nobel Prize, and it's a weird scene where like it's actually consequential to the movie where he rejects the Nobel Prize, but you don't see that. It just cuts mid sentence like, "And now Michael Morbius." He goes, and they cut to like he's in the hospital, and then like his girlfriend Martine is like, or his friend Martine.
It's his friend.
Yes, his friend Martine is like, "I can't believe you turned down the Nobel Prize. It's bad for the hospital, bad for you."
right.
Yeah.
But I'm like, did he turn down the Nobel? I guess so. Like, I would love to have seen that. Him like get up and give a speech and
He
say,
just kind of walks away.
Because he showed up to say "fuck you."
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
He
exactly.
could have just not gone.
I mean, it's a nice vacation. Hell, I get it. I mean, I assume they put you up in a very nice hotel.
But that's the problem. Once you say "fuck you," now when you go back to the hotel, they give you the bill. It's like, "Hey, dude,
Oh,
right?
fuck.
Oh, yes, it would appear as if you said "fuck you" during the ceremony. Here's the bill for your 4 nights here. This 5-star hotel. Should have kept your potty mouth shut. But like that happens multiple times in this
Yes.
movie, Steve. And it's a weird thing where like this movie is not even 2 hours long. It's an hour and 45 minutes.
With
You don't-
credits and stingers."
Yep.
Oh boy.
You don't see him do that. You don't see Matt Smith take the same potion
Yes.
and turn into the villain. There's all this shit that they cut out, and you're like, for what?
And you get the feeling that Jared Leto was like if there was something longer than a paragraph, he's like, "No, I'm not doing that." Like he's just, I can't be. I know I won't be bothered.
God bless the runtime, though. I mean, it's
Oh,
very
sure.
short, but at the same, like 144 is short now for some reason. But if you added 15 minutes in where explain some shit, I wouldn't mind.
Or rounded stuff out. Like, I
Exactly.
mean, like how? I mean, there's so many questions. Like, how and why is Matt Smith a billionaire? What is that relationship like?
You have
I get-
no idea what he does for a living. He just has like this swank pad in New York, and he's bankrolling all of Michael Morbius's research at this. What is it called? The Sundown facility?
I think it's a lab in Wuhan, China.
The
here, where
Hanover, or whatever.
he's trying
Horizon?
to splice,
Horizon.
Yeah.
There it is.
trying to splice human DNA with bat DNA. It's
Yeah, I
I
don't
could see why it was shelved.
Yeah. That might have been a little bit of a controversy. I could see that.
But to your point, the Milo thing having money, you need to explain that. I
Yes.
guess there's just $1 billion baby that fell into Jared Harris's lap.
Yeah.
And it's oh well, yeah. He'll send Michael Morbius a "Not you, my little golden egg. No, no,
Totally.
you shall stay with me."
Well, it's weird because it appears like now in the present day situation, like Jared Harris is just like
his doctor.
He's contracted to only have Matt Smith as like his only patient.
But it's also not like it seems like doctor, nurse, like
Yes.
therapist, the whole fucking shebang
Yeah.
is him. And I do wonder if the reason that they have like Jared Harris like kind of just being the connective to like literally for certain scenes to work, you just have to have another actor doing this.
Yeah.
So I wonder if Jared Leto had like, I have this list of actors I will stand. Jared Harris is 1, Matt Smith is 2.
I mean, I guess so, but is Jared Leto really the kind of actor that can make dumbass demands like that?
Well,
for
I mean,
this
he
movie
won it.
nobody
Listen,
cares
He
about?
won
the
an
Academy Award.
Oscar, I
Yes,
guess.
this is-
Yeah.
I mean, this movie is bankrolled on Jared. I mean, like, and let's get into him too. And I mean, like, I'm not the world's biggest Jared Leto fan. I liked his earlier stuff, his Fincher stuff. You know, Panic
Uh-huh.
Room is fun in.
And he demanded that there needed to be another Jared in the movie. Just a 2 Jared picture.
It's actually good luck just to have another Jared there.
They had to cut Jared Fogle out.
yeah, sorry.
That was in the
Mr. Leto.
original cut.
But like, I don't, you know, and like he got really insufferable. His Joker is absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. I kind of liked him in House of Gucci, which I was kind of surprised by. And
Yeah.
but this, I've never seen him care less. I have never
Now,
seen
is
my
that-
dude
is
care
he
less.
trying to be like stoic, cool, and it comes off that way?
That's probably right.
Yeah, I
'Cause
think
he's-
so.
You think so?
But here's 2 things.
It's like you act so hard, Chris, that you end up not acting it again.
I guess so, but like that is probably true. But like the other thing he does a lot, and it's something that is common with what he won an Oscar for, is being sickly.
Yeah.
That's
That's like a whole thing in this.
2 things, 2 quotes that were revealed about this that tell you exactly what his mindset is. 1, he said, "Well, the character of Michael Morbius is so close to my actual personality, I didn't need to go so deep into my method acting."
So no personality.
So just sort of like, it was just sort of like, I just kind of showed up like this because it's also like you're Johnny Depp. I'm not getting a haircut for this role kind
Yep.
of a situation.
Yep, definitely.
And the other one is he was even though he put all the prosthetics in House of Gucci, people were like, "So you didn't do prosthetics for this movie?" He's like, "No, I just thought the digital effects would look better." So it's like really like, yeah, I don't want to sit in a chair for
Yeah.
4
Yeah,
hours.
yeah.
Absolutely.
You see so many people, they overplay what it's like to thirst for blood and to consume it. I have to say from my own experience, it's a very leisureful activity. I just take a big glass, pour it out, and sip it. It's nice. It's very delicious. It's like tomato juice.
Oh.
It's an acquired taste, coppery.
Yeah. So do we mention, by the way, his lady friend Martine Bancroft? I don't
Yes.
know if this is a character from the
She
comics.
is, yeah.
This is Adria Arjona, who I guess was on True Detective season 2,
I
a
never
bunch
saw
of other
that one,
stuff.
yeah.
I don't
God.
think I've ever seen her in anything.
That fucking season of that is such a piece of shit.
It is.
You kind of have to see it to believe it. Like it's so like the worst performance. Colin Farrell's okay in it,
Yeah.
but like Vince Vaughn is doing such up his ass bullshit in
Yeah,
that.
he'll do that.
Yeah, really bad.
So we get a little bit of him like doing some research here. He does like a bat autopsy at one point, which is disgusting. There's like a little girl under his care while he's doing these experiments. And like, so he does the experiment like with the fusing of the bat DNA and the people DNA, and a computer screen turns green and there's a little green check mark. So we know that the
A
experiment
mouse has a
went
heart
well.
attack.
Yeah.
He's
Yes.
created a new way for mice to have heart attacks, which
Yeah.
is very important.
A nice little CGI mouse dies and then is quickly resurrected.
Yep.
All in the sake of pushing evolution. That's like the whole conversation here is she's like, hey, I don't know, man, this seems pretty fucked up. You're sort of like forcing the issue here on evolution.
But the idea is part of his condition is he needs multiple blood transfusions a day, and 2, he is gonna die really soon. Like he's already outlived. Like he's on the outer rim
Yes.
of like whatever his life expectancy is supposed to be.
And so that's sort of the little girl starts to crash and he
Yeah.
has to do like a medically induced coma. And that like sets the clock and the motivation again. He wants to like save this girl because he's a good guy. Remember,
Sure,
everybody, he's
yeah.
a good guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Hippocratic oath, do no harm,
Great guy.
whatnot. So he goes to Matt
Not,
Smith.
not according to the Nobel Peace Prize Association.
Well, no,
fucking
no.
Morbius, that asshole.
Did you see how much he ordered? Roast beef sandwiches.
And look at all the pornography on the pay-per-view.
say fuck you in front of all of my friends.
I don't even think he enjoyed the pornography. He just liked it in the background.
I'm telling you, I don't know if I'm talking about school. I hope that guy turns into a vampire. Honestly, I don't know. I don't mean to be a dick or not. I just hope that fucker turns into a fucking vampire.
It's a funny premise, right? That a doctor accidentally turns himself into a vampire. I guess they're trying to do like a mad science thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure. Yeah.
Well, it's a very Marvel-y, early 70s Marvel thing, which is like one, like especially Spider-Man villain thing, which is like, I have this horrible condition. Oh, let me heal myself. Whoops, I'm a monster.
right. It's
Yeah,
just like
totally.
and Doctor Strange is like, let me heal myself. Whoops, I'm a wizard now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're all kind of follow that formula.
Right. So he goes to Matt Smith and he's like, hey man, we kind of got like one last shot at this. I think I got the serum right where it needs to be. We got to do human trials next, which means, you guessed it, international waters science experiment.
Of
Matt
course.
Smith has henchmen in this scene and they never come back. It's like this Russian dude and he's like, what's with the muscle, man? And it's like, I won them in a poker game or something. Bye.
There's a total bullshit set. And I leaned over to you when we were watching it because he goes in the door and like this goon gives Jared Leto a hard time here. And he's like, oh, you're only treating me this way because you're bigger than me or whatever. And I was like, oh, when he gets all morbified,
right,
he's going to be jacked and he's going to kick that dude's ass. No, we never see that guy again.
Well, that would be something you would like to see. So of course it cannot be.
That's right.
Paying something off in a movie. Yeah.
That's not going to be
Oh,
happening.
that guy? Oh, yeah, I beat up that henchman off screen.
We are just trying to get to an ending here, folks. That's what's happening.
We are fast forwarding to get to that stinger scene. That's all this is.
Next scene's a coming.
13. Oh, sorry. 13 miles off the Long Island. You could do whatever you want.
I was burst out laughing when they mentioned Long Island because I
Yep.
think they're like, it's like the international waters thing. We're maybe trying to hint at Dracula a bit.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
totally.
How he came from jolly old England to wherever.
A boat with like dead people on it. Like,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of a thing.
But it's all these mercenaries
But it's only.
who seem not to be briefed whatsoever.
Yeah, they have no clue what they're there for.
I need to know, like, and again, like these are like one line from Matt Smith, like, well, when my parents left me all that money, then I know how that is. One
Yep.
line from Matt Smith. Listen, Michael, you're gonna do this crazy thing. There might be pirates out there. The law might get involved. I'm gonna send you some guys.
Yep.
That's all I need. Like that's
anything.
You could have
Just-
sent the dude from the house.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
it would make sense, but like they don't. He's just on a boat with all these dudes with machine guns, and I'm like, why?
And like these dudes who seem to have orders that say like if something goes tits up, you have to murder Morbius because
Yeah.
like he does the experiment, right? And like he starts freaking out and whatnot. And Martine's like behind, Leto's like locked in a room or whatever, and she like is like, oh, somebody get help or whatever's going on. And the dudes are like upstairs playing poker, and it's like, what is going on down there? Let's go see. And like they run in with these fucking machine
Yeah.
guns ready to blast this
Oh,
dude.
I was expecting Dr. Jekyll and I get here and it's Mr. Hyde.
And he, lays waste to these
It's my-
dudes.
Now listen, it's my oldest and dearest friend in the world, Michael Morbius. He's like a brother to me. He gave me my name. It's actually Lucian. Everyone calls me Milo now because of Michael Morbius. Anything happens, murder him. He is the first to be murdered.
No, bring more machine guns.
Bullets are no object. Get as many as you can in the body.
You may want to get some dynamite, some grenades or something.
Have you ever set fire to a body on a boat?
Man, and some of these guys get scratched up by, I presume, Jared Leto's actual cocaine fingernails.
Well, again, this is so close to his actual character
Exactly.
personality.
Yeah.
You see.
Yeah. Oh, cool. I don't have to trim my coke nails. Excellent.
Well, this is like, that's the thing. It's like in this movie, he's more of a raggy vampire. In real life, he's more of a Blade villain vampire.
Yeah.
Like high command, high fashion.
Yep.
Sunglasses that never make sense.
Oh, I just realized something. I glanced at my notes. I mean, I was taking them during the movie, so maybe I'm wrong. Was the boat named Murnau?
The Murnau.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wink.
Oh,
Is
ouch.
everyone paying attention?
Ouch. I got salt in my eye. I'm winking.
Dude, well, it's hilarious because there's a couple of things where you needed some take twos with pronunciation. This
Mhm.
Martine character refers to the award that he turns down as the Noble. So let's
that's I'll take it again.
let's reset on that one.
Because they couldn't say Nobel.
So
No,
it's
it is. Everyone
They
else
actually
says
said it?
Nobel.
Okay,
Everybody else
what
says
the
it.
fuck is going on in this movie?
So it's a prize for bravery.
Dude, you could just ADR that.
So he turns down our award. His girlfriend is mispronouncing it. I hate that fucking Michael Moore. I just heard. I know. I shouldn't speak ill. I wish he turned into a vampire. I am just saying.
He left a turd in the shower. I talked to the maid. A turd in the shower.
What kind of a man shits in the shower? But then the other one is Jared Leto does a distress call after he kills all these dudes. So everyone on the ship is dead except for Martine, who's been pushed by one of the goons and hits her head. She's out cold. He sends a distress call to the Coast Guard. This is where we get 17 miles off the coast of Long Island, LOL. And then he goes, oh, this is the SMC or whatever the registration is on the boat. Murnaw.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, again, you're referencing a fucking legendary film director. Because if you're not following folks at home, F.W. Murnau directed Nosferatu. That's what we're doing here.
Yeah, it's pronounced like Murtaugh.
I mean, was that because it was Long Island? Like, what? It's just stop the recording and be like, Jared, it's Murnau. Try it again.
And it's like, my girlfriend needs a doctor. I guess I'm not one. I'm jumping into the ocean.
Dude, him just jumping off that boat is fucking hilarious.
So what do we think? Two things. One, we could do a show 14 miles off of Long Island, right? We should do a fucking a live show.
Donkey show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Get like a cruise ship type situation.
I like where
with a little
It's
stage.
not that far, guys.
We could do it.
Andrew Jupin, Steven Sadek, Eric Siska, Chris Cabin.
Please do not push me overboard.
Anything goes. And in this special episode from the high seas, Chris will marry a horse.
Live TV. You get him on the boat, I'll do it.
The payoff to zoo after all these years.
Don't mind that. Just a bunch of Vietnamese gentlemen playing Baccarat behind us. Don't worry about it.
Look, we're doing this without ads, so we had to make a deal here.
That's the thing. Yeah. Do you want ads or do you want us to broadcast on the high seas?
Ooh, it's brought to you by Crypto for human trafficking.
I now pronounce ye podcaster and horse.
But we should talk about Morbius' appearance, right? Like that's something. I mean, the weird thing
when
is
he's like vamping out.
The nose going back is a little.
It's a bit weird because I mean, in the comics, that's just how that dude looks. Like he's just deformed all the time.
So, and it's like, does the comic design match? Because of course, I went home and I put on the Spider-Man '90s cartoon, and
that cartoon is fucking hilarious.
It's great, but in the comics, did he look like that with the big like white head? How they put him in the cartoon?
He's all white all the time.
Okay,
he's got varied long kind of hair, and he's got like a pushed in nose and like vampire teeth. Like he just looks like a fucking monster all of the time, as opposed to like this cure doesn't make him sexy, because that is something that Jared Leto looks like. Because like they show him, they have like some CGI like emaciated body stuff.
Yeah, and then he gets muscles.
Yeah, he gets really sexy for a bit.
I think they just took the shot of Jared Leto's body at the end of Requiem.
Yes.
And then just put his stupid Morbius head on it.
Yeah. But that scene of him like looking in the mirror on the ship reminded me of Spider-Man 2002.
Yes,
when Toby's looking like, oh wow, big change.
Oh, right.
It's like emo Spider-Man a little bit.
But
yeah, he is.
But I mean, prosthetics would have been so much better. I don't necessarily mind the CGI, but like when they start fighting and he really starts moving, I'm just not watching the movie anymore.
It becomes incomprehensible. The fights in this are a big problem, especially once you get to the final ones with Matt Smith, where it's just like you added the not goop, the drifting purple dust, which is cool in concept.
Oh, the vaccine shedding.
The vaccine shedding. But then you got vaccine shedding everywhere. And I'm like, well, they were right. I should have listened to
Listen, I've gotten 3 shots already. I'm not getting a 4th one and turn it into Michael Morbius, okay? 3, I understand. It got me through 2021. I never got the virus, thank God.
I would take 20 shots if it turned me into a vampire.
Absolutely.
If you look close enough to the vaccine he's taking in this movie, you can see it says ivermectin on it. You got to pause it, and you really got to get your little glasses out, but it's right there.
Oh my God, he's mixing Pfizer and Moderna. This is unheard of.
he's got a hunger for blood. So yeah, enter what you call it, Tyrse and Al Madrigal, and woof, dude. I know Venom had this, right? And I think that part of what the problem with this movie is, I think we were all a little too nice to Venom, because Venom was
I wasn't. Nice
that
to
first
Venom.
movie
Is fun.
Is the sequel sucks.
I
sequel
didn't
was
see the
terrible.
sequel. I thought
That-
the first one was like, it was a big honkin' whatever.
It
But
was-
I mean,
it
but
was-
Tom Hardy's a lot of fun to watch. In
Yes,
It is.
exactly.
Yes, true.
Tom,
He is.
Tom Hardy is good,
Yes.
and this guy is bad.
And I think that because that was successful, even though it was kind of a bad movie, they're like, oh, they'll eat any slop. And it's like, well, not
Yeah,
really,
that's
because
true.
Tom Hardy actually like just elevates that movie into something that's like kind of like poppy and like kind of weird. And
That's
like,
the thing. Like,
There's humor in that movie. Like
Yes.
even when I
Yeah.
didn't like it, I was like, they're going for jokes. That's at least a positive step forward.
and Tom Hardy's become like a legit movie star now.
Yes.
you know, like legit movie
rocks.
star. Jared Leto is an actor
Yes.
that he's chasing Oscar bait, but he doesn't have like anything that really hooks into a general audience's appeal,
You're
right?
totally-
Like, what is
yeah.
a big Jared Leto movie?
this is it. Honestly, like
Is this his first like lead? How many movies has he led? Because he's in movies, but like you
he's
think
in
about like,
Suicide Squad, which is a big movie, but he's also like
That's
he
a
was,
big-
he
that's
was
an
cut out
ons-
of it
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
much.
yeah, I mean that's an ensemble. House of
Yeah.
Gucci ensemble.
Yeah.
I mean he's the lead in Requiem.
yeah, but that's like
Yeah.
a trillion
Yeah,
years ago.
But we
Yeah.
also, I mean, Requiem is good and interesting,
and
but,
art house too.
It's
but
splintered.
it's art
I
house,
mean, like
and we've a
What
lot
is
of different
Splinter-
people.
what?
it's splintered. Like the.
Oh, I
it's
thought
not
you were saying a
just
movie
It's
called
not
Leto.
just him.
Splintered.
It's got like Ellen Bernstein and all that.
And Wayans is a pretty big part of it.
But-
Yeah, he's not. He's not like he's in movies. You're right. He's not like a huge lead
because
of movies.
and that's the thing too, is like Blade as well, an all-timer.
Yeah,
Wesley Snipes is a fucking movie star. You
Chapter-
know what I mean? Like
Chapter
you
27, I guess he's a lead.
Oh,
in.
yeah, that's true.
I did
man,
not
that
see
movie
it.
sucks
Cool.
shit.
What
It
a
sucks
movie.
shit.
Lord of War, he's the second fiddle to Nick Cage. So
but like
It's so
yeah,
easy
he's not a
immediately
movie star.
overshadowed.
He doesn't and he's doing snappy Arnold-esque one-liners in this, and they suck.
it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't. No, he's not. So like whatever. Al Madrigal and Tyrse, which woof. When I was going with that, it's like Venom had like a vague cop thread in that as well. So like maybe we did a vague cop thread in this. It's like no, not really. Like they
No.
do nothing.
No, and I kind of get the feeling that these were people that all had like, I can imagine all these people openly on like Twitter or something saying like, man, sure would like to be in a Marvel movie at Marvel or something. Just like, it feels like all these people were just like, I would technically like to be in the MCU.
Can I?
Is there some way to technically get in there?
Yeah,
Right.
Can I blow the mind of everyone in this room right now?
Sure.
sure.
Did
I'll
you know
unzip
that-
my pants?
Did you know that Tyrese's character, whatever Simon Stroud, has a robotic arm in this movie?
What?
In the movie you watched last night.
Wait,
Nope.
what? I thought the artificial blood saved his arm.
I'm passing this around.
There's a
This-
photo.
That's just not in the movie. It's like it's an amazing. He's got like
Did
some
they
like
that
cut,
looks
did they
like-
cut this out and then they just made that line of like my arm was saved?
It looks like
Well-
an advanced super soaker.
If it's a robot arm, then the fake blood didn't save it.
Oh, I see what this is going on. There's some tubing going from his shoulder to the lower forearm. So maybe that's the blood making the robot arm
which is
work.
whatever. But then
That is 6,012%
Listen,
not in this movie.
Science fiction, fantasy, comic books. Black men can have arms. You know, you don't have to cut off every black guy's arm.
Yeah, why is he Jax?
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, like even still, like that would give him something to do in this movie is use. Oh, you didn't expect me to use my robot arm, and maybe that's a line that gets cut. But I mean, like, so then what is he even doing in the movie to begin with?
It's a great question because he and Detective Al Madrigal accomplish absolutely fuck all nothing by the end
I
of
think
this
the
movie.
answer is they're trying to ground the movie in some type of reality. Like
Sure.
people would be like, "Where are the cops if we don't see them?" But also, where is Spider-Man? Where are the other superheroes? Where's anyone?
Or Tyrese just called out Bob Iskoff on Twitter. Was like, "Hey man, would love to be part of it. Would really love to be part of that."
I mean, like robot arm, useless cop, whatever you got for me, man, I'll
Who
do it.
both?
Look, if in some iteration of this character in the comics does become a character,
Yeah.
boy, that'd be great.
They should do something, right? At least one of these cops at the end. Now, maybe I blocked it out. Maybe this did happen.
No,
They
they don't do anything.
Nothing happens. Don't.
They don't. Okay,
No,
they don't
nothing
do
happened.
anything.
But he-
They
nothing
should
happened.
do
At the-
something. They should help in some way.
At the end, when Morbius defeats his ill-defined villain and flies into the night ill-definedly, Tyrese just looks up like it's kind of a next time baby, but not really. Like it's just like Morbius, oh you son of a bitch, and that's it.
Let me look up to the sky and go, maybe.
I feel like it's closer to a next time baby if you knew he had a robotic arm.
Yeah, that's what he should like put his arm up to the camera and then close the robot fist.
Totally, and then just have a robot middle finger go up or
That'd
something.
be fun.
Today's podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Did you know that headaches, teeth grinding, and even digestive issues can be indicators of stress? Let's not forget doom scrolling, sleeping too little, sleeping too much, undereating, and overeating. Dude, I have been there, especially the overeating. But a few years ago, I was tired of the stress and the anxiety and just tried therapy for the first time, and I'm happy to say that it really, really helps. That's why I'm thrilled we're sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is online therapy that offers phone, video, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Give it a try and see why over 2 million people have used BetterHelp Online Therapy. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and We Hate Movies listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/WHM. That's BetterHelp.com/WHM. BetterHelp Online Therapy, because it helps.
So they're like trying to figure out what's going on. Meanwhile, Morbius sneaks back to the lab, and this is like you get a little bit because he's Leto is using like a little recorder to document like the notes as he's trying to figure out what happened to him. So you get a little bit of like how he's feeling and what these powers are doing. You get his like echolocation shit. Dude, this effect with the ears where it makes his ears look like the underside of a mushroom.
It's disgusting. I want to vomit.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Now, Steve has been going on for months about his bat radar capabilities. So did it hold up for you?
Oh yeah, it was everything I wanted to see. I was like, what I want when I go into the Morbius movie, guys, I want to see goopy streaks of shit, and I definitely need to see bat radar.
It's the worst kind of fucking like superpower, weird ear. Like I just
weird here.
So he's like, you see, he can kind of like jump around or whatever.
Oh, students, I want you to introduce you to Weird Ear. He'll be here at the academy.
Now remember, students, no talking shit. He can hear for miles.
I actually like to be called Morbius.
No, dear.
That's very nice, Weird Ear.
And now everyone remember, his ears are not actually mushrooms. So if you get hungry and you want to put them in butter, that's out of bounds.
And remember, his superpower is listening. Remember that.
And if you lick those ears, you won't be tripping on mushrooms because believe me, I've tried.
Do not try to serve those in butter. No, no, no.
Where you licked my ears? No, nothing further.
But and to Chris's point, this is Jared Leto's favorite kind of scene in this movie, which is he's just by himself for a long time here.
Totally.
And he's like got this rubber ball. He's doing some Jack Nicholson stuff.
Yes, you're seeing him like experiment with like closing his eyes and like listening to catch the ball flying all over. He realizes like the shit is like kind of wearing off, so he has to keep drinking the fake blood to sort of like power back up or whatever. And the whole thing is he realizes like the time between like when he chugs a bunch of this blue milk and then the time where it starts wearing off, that window is getting shorter. And the whole thing is like, he's doing this with the fake blood because he doesn't want to drink the real blood, because that means he's a bad guy if he's drinking the real blood.
But like, why have fake blood if you're not using it all the time? And Milo's got so much money. Like, why don't they just have tons and tons of fake blood?
Yeah, just don't be drinking it all the time. Again, because it's not even like I was thinking about this. Like, usually it would be like, the good vampire will go to blood banks and steal blood, what I mean? Not kill people.
Right.
But I think actually, like, because there are blood shortages and stuff, it's like, oh no, you're not just killing one person, you're killing like 100
They
people.
should,
How do you do that?
Yeah,
Listen,
Jeffrey Wright can't help you anymore.
A fun and games portion of this movie where they're wearing lab coats, setting up fake Red Cross blood drives. Yeah, you get
It's
some
just-
fun
it's-
music.
It's him and Matt Smith right this
Yeah,
way.
exactly.
And they're like rubbing their heads together.
It's like, oh, you get a cookie now.
Uh-huh.
Oh, we have some orange juice here for you.
Totally.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's probably what happens to most of the blood you donate.
Oh, it goes to
places.
vampires for sure.
Just
Yeah,
right,
like
right to big vampire.
Yeah, Peter Thiel.
Yeah.
He was the head vampire. I
Straight to
believe.
Kissinger.
Yeah.
He's got to chug that shit these days.
That is right. I have the Michael Morbius disease.
He
Yeah.
must, right? He's like a pure little
I-
goblin now, right?
I,
Gobbledygook.
I go into a bath of blood, much like my favorite movie, Hostel Part 2.
Play it again.
That's why when is the last time you saw Henry Kissinger in direct sunlight? Question.
Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
Call.
Oh, he'd go right up.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. There are just flames everywhere.
But the interesting
Oh no,
thing,
I'm going up like a Cambodian village that I fucking incinerated.
My second favorite movie, Manhunter, has a scene much like this.
the sunlight thing, that's not a thing in this, right?
Yeah,
No.
we're just not.
He
doing
makes a dumb as donkey dick joke about it too.
What was the
that we'll
joke?
get to. We'll get. Oh, we'll get to it.
we'll get
Don't
to
worry
it.
about
it.
it.
But so like we're basically just explaining his powers, not to great effect because I was still confused.
Nope.
By the end of it, he goes into there's just this one room just filled with bats, just filled with these bats.
The bat to tank.
And who's feeding these bats is my question.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't see that scene.
Are
but
they
it's just
feeding
some
it
like
The fake,
janitor
the
or
fake
something?
blood.
So I don't know.
And also, who's scooping up the bat shit is the real because like that's what he goes in there to become one of them. He's like,
Look,
oh,
Oh,
ew.
he's shitting in there to become one of them.
They're like my brothers. We all shit together.
we must learn to live together like this.
Janitor comes in. There's all the little bat pellets, and then there's the big human coil in the middle.
Yeah, we hear all your complaints. Yes, we should have had a butler character, but I gotta tell you, Jared had a list of actors that he
Oh.
stands. It started with Jared Harris and it ended with Matt Smith.
And Jared Harris as Milo's, he's kind of like the anti-Alfred. He's like an Alfred that works against you. For Milo, anyway.
Yes. Yeah, because he's always like trying to make Milo be good, and Milo wants to be evil. I
I'm just
guess.
thinking about other properties that have old live-in men. There's not a lot of movies where some guy's got an old live-in man with him.
So, but Matt Smith comes into the movie, and he comes into this after a while. Actually, what's going on is now Jared Leto Morbius is testing how long he could last without this fake blood. So he locks himself in a room.
He's seeing a baby up on the ceiling.
Yes, exactly.
Underworld starts pumping in.
And Matt Smith is like, "Oh wait, you're cured. Holy shit, you're really sexy." And he's like, "I can't give you my sexy curse, dude.
Wait a
I
second,
can't let
though.
you be sexy."
One of the funniest parts of the movie is right here because Matt Smith drops into the lab and he's like, "So what's going on here today, my best friend? Oh no, what's going on with you?" And like Leto is convulsing in this glass cage and he sees Matt Smith and he just starts writing blood. Jared Leto on the wall with his own blood or on the window. And Matt Smith just goes, "Blood?" Like confused. And I'm like, dude, all you guys talk about all the live long day is blood.
yeah.
Why would you be
But
surprised that that's what he needs?
I understand. Like, what flavor? Bat? Human? What do you want? here?
Artificial. Also, my favorite part is blood. He writes blood in his own ones. What? Oh, blood. And then he like underlines it. It's like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah, oh man, the underline, incredible.
I thought it was going to be a full sentence. Now I see.
So he gives him fake blood, and then he's like, "Oh my god, you're cured. Look at you. You're walking around, and you look great. You got muscle mass. That's exciting." And it's like, can't do it, bro. It's too awesome like this. You're
Yeah.
not
Oh,
allowed to-
it's actually a curse.
yeah.
You don't understand the curse of having erections again. It's so terrible.
I don't know. Were broken dicks part of this whole thing?
I don't. They just look very lethargic.
Sure.
It's like they're not really up for getting it up.
Droopy cocks.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
They look droopy.
I
That's,
just
that's
also-
the look. Is droopy.
Love the idea of a medical procedure being a curse.
Yeah.
Oh.
And being a vampire is almost never a curse. Like you
No,
want to
it's
turn me
all-
into a fucking vampire, it's awesome.
It's all plus.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, it's much better because you have like all the positives and none of the negatives.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like being a Jim Jarmusch vampire, dude.
Oh man.
Mhm.
Those fucking vampires, Anton Yelchin,
Mhm.
Tilda, all them guys. Tom, what's his face? That's another Tom. Who's that guy?
Hiddleston.
Hiddleston. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like That's the vampire life for me, man. Living in a burned out house, listening to records, playing guitar.
And then you show up there and you're like, dude, could you fucking make me a vampire? Like, oh no, it's a fucking curse, man. I have to live for hundreds of years and play cool guitars and like have crazy sex.
Well, 'cause it's- you
would hate Andrew,
like
you would hate it. You would totally hate it.
Because you don't want others fucking
Yeah, I guess
getting
that's
in on
true.
your
Yeah.
shit, man.
Yeah.
Look, you want to be the only one who's looking for the Big Bopper's skull or whatever.
Bye-bye, baby.
Yeah.
But-
that thing has got to be in pieces. somewhere.
Oh yeah. But if you
Ash
have
in pieces.
if you have all the time in the world, you could piece that baby together.
You want to talk about 13 miles off the coast of Long Island? Oh, no.
It's the ocean.
Yeah,
that
Tom
crashed.
Hiddleston does a little night swimming, finds the fucking pieces.
But so Matt Smith, unbeknownst to the audience, but pretty obviously because he's in this room and they show very clearly when he walks in all these vials of the cure. He must have palmed one of them and walked out after. Like, they have this huge argument. It's like, you're gonna. So now you're sentencing because again, like it's like Matt Smith's like, I'm gonna like die tomorrow and every day sucks. And now look at you doing backflips. He's like,
Yep.
No, man, you would hate it, dude. You would hate feeling this good.
And-
Dude, you'd hate it.
And Matt Smith could do the arithmetic. And Jared Leto too. He knows that whenever fucking Matt Smith kicks it, he's in for quite the windfall as far as
yeah,
money
that's
comes.
true.
Yep.
He's definitely getting a piece of that action.
But that's why I feel like you got to be careful with this, though, right? Because like you piss him off, he's going to go and change that will. Then
that's
you're
true.
screwed.
Well,
Then
then
you're
it hinges on Jared Harris, who is in love with Michael Morbius.
Oh, absolutely. Was he's the golden child?
Yes.
He's the golden boy.
The most
Paid for that
beautiful boy.
education.
So the next thing you see is this nurse who they've sort of set up earlier, like she's just a nurse that they work with, and it's like the only closest thing to a horror scene in the movie. You know,
Sure.
she's just in a hallway and like she sees something batting around behind her, and it looks exactly like Morbius.
batting around.
Even by grudge American remake standards, this is not very good.
No, it's not
No.
scary.
It's I don't know what, here's the thing. Like we don't need this kind of
Jump scare kind of.
yeah, no, I don't need that in this movie. I know
No.
how dumb as shit this movie is. Like I know I'm not here to be spooked.
Look,
Come on.
look, you guys don't care. I don't care. Let's just get this over with, everybody.
That's the Morbius way,
Yeah,
dude.
come
That's
on.
what Jared Leto said every morning.
Don't play me for a sucker. Just fucking get on with it.
You could have had a sexy bite. Give me one sexy
Yes.
bite. I thought he was leading there. We're leading there with the girl at the bar. Obviously, that doesn't happen. We'll get to it. But
No.
And this nurse is
where's
kind
my
of
sex-
sexy. I want to see
where's-
like,
yeah,
yeah,
where's my sexy bites
Well,
at?
that's
thank
an
you,
important
Eric.
thing.
Where are my sexy bites?
Yes.
Bend over and I'll show you. Here's the
You're
thing.
gonna bite my bottom.
Now my bottom's big. That's another thing that's so stupid about this. And again, talking about fucking Blade, there is no like on-screen violence in this movie. There's no gore. There's a moment when he's attacking those mercs on the boat. He straight up cuts a dude's throat, and you hear the like sound effect, and the actor grabs his throat like but like you don't see a goddamn thing.
That's clearly what they figured out, was that like if you make the wet noise, you don't have to show it.
Right.
You just put a lot of wet noises in here.
It's horseshit.
a little gurgle.
But like Deadpool was humongous. It was rated R. Like why are we the only way to make a vampire movie that makes any sense at all is it has to be rated R. Like it
Right.
It just
yes.
has to be.
Right.
Yeah.
For sex alone, which obviously is not nowhere near this film, and for violence, you need an
And
R-rated vampire
Deadpool
movie.
was also Sony Marvel, right? Am I wrong?
That was Fox.
Fox.
But even
Fox. Well, R.I.P.D. Fox.
just make an R. Like you're allowed. No one.
I feel
As children shouldn't be seeing the Morbius movie anyway.
But here's the thing. I feel part of
They
this
didn't.
is
They have to.
They won't.
I feel like it's the studio hedging their bets, where it's like, all right, this is an F-class character. No one gives a flying fuck. We cannot prevent someone who wants to go see this movie to see it. You know what I mean?
You know what you do is like they did with the D character Peacemaker. Make a
Yeah.
TV show.
Well,
Give
that's
me a vampire TV show, and
Yep.
then maybe fucking Deadpool hangs out.
that's
or
the
whatever.
thing. Does Sony have a preferred streaming service?
I don't think that they do right now.
because this feels
Crackle.
oh Crackle. Okay,
Oh wait,
that's
do
nice.
they own that?
They own Crackle.
Wow.
It would make more sense if something like this. It acts like something that was made for like the Disney Plus,
See,
like
we're-
just to be dumped off there.
it's an
But it's
interesting
somehow too dark still.
world we're in now. Like it used to be when a TV show was made, like sometimes 20th Century Fox would make a TV show that airs on NBC or whatever.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
just make the show and then license it to Disney or whatever.
Put it
in
on Hulu or
perpetuity.
something,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Something.
Or-
Well, because this is a question I had because I haven't watched it yet. I will dabble because I like the actor fine enough, even though I literally don't know what this character is and whatever. But like,
Moon Knight.
is
Nah.
Moon Knight like violent? Like, what are we like? How crazy are we getting on Disney
I
Plus
have
with that
not
shit?
seen it yet. I do want to check it out.
It must be violent enough because yesterday when I signed into Disney Plus to watch The Simpsons,
oh,
they,
no, I know what this is about.
they asked me am I okay keep moving my profile to TVMA?
But that's about taking the Netflix Daredevils and that's now on Disney Plus. I
Yes,
think.
yeah.
Oh,
So I think that's why that is
Did
coming
anyone
up.
else see that article about for for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which
Yeah.
came out last year on Disney Plus?
Yes.
They edited some of the violence
They
out.
took the violence. They
Yeah.
took they
What?
took the blood out of certain scenes. I read about this. I looked into it. Apparently, it was upload. It was like the file was changed out in error,
Yeah, they said
and they put it back. Yeah, they said that.
Quote,
right? I don't
unquote.
know
because this
right?
article happened, like some fucking maniac, good for him, found it. It was like they changed the blood in Captain Falcon and Winter Soldier, and
Which
then
is
everyone kind
crazy.
of was like, "That's insane." And then they're like, "Oh no, we had the wrong file up there for a day. It's back to
Oh
normal."
yeah, the
everybody."
wrong file that we
And
paid to
that-
have digitally altered.
We were caught. Sorry.
Yep.
That show is so fucking milk toast to begin with.
Yes.
Removing the blood, what a crazy concept.
Which is just nuts because, and that's where we're going here. And I mean, like, that's kind of actually leads, we're not just on a tangent because I mean, like, now even a fucking vampire movie,
Yep.
it's
Yeah.
just got, it has to be totally
And
bloodless and sexless.
I think the vaccine shedding helps obscure any
Yes.
violence.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then-
That's kind of what he does.
And then you use the Snyder fucking slow-mo to give like a pause of clarity in the middle of this fucking
Yeah, like
Shit.
everybody
Smear.
slow down. This is where this person's standing.
Yeah.
This is where that person's standing.
You
Now
s-
we'll speed it up
It's
again.
it's the Looney Tunes thing at the beginning of
Yeah,
a
yeah.
Roadrunner cartoon when they're
Yeah.
zooming and there's like bing and it's
Yep.
just like the Roadrunner, whatever Roadrunner asparagus and then whatever the fucking
yeah.
But then you got that slow-mo shot so we can look at the shot so that all those stupid Twitter accounts can like crop and be like, just the most beautiful fucking movie. The lighting, the
Dude,
most
have
beautiful
you
movie.
ever seen anything like
you
this?
seen, have you seen the fucking speaking of that, these apes that are like looking at this like still from The Godfather and
Oh,
they're
yeah.
like, looks like fucking garbage. What the fuck?
Uh-huh.
Why isn't someone turn on a light here?
Why is this image expressing the inner life of the character? The fuck is up with that?
Morbius. So
Yeah.
He gets arrested.
he gets arrested for the murder of this. Well, it's this weird thing. He's trying to leave, and this is when Tyrse is like, "Oh, by the way, thanks for saving my arm in Afghanistan." And Michael Morbius thanks him for his service.
He certainly
Fucking
does.
vampire.
It's so
That's
funny.
kind of funny when you think about it, really. But and then like they realize that a nurse has been murdered. The hospital gets locked down, and there's an action scene where he like escapes through the roof. And
He
that's
beats the shit out of Tyrese and Al Madrigal
Yeah.
here, and then he like jumps up. I guess they're like this office building is at the Guggenheim or something.
Yeah,
like
sounds
he just
about right.
shoots right up
Yeah.
through this
I-
circular. you
I
know?
work in an atrium, it turns out.
Yeah.
but then, and this is sort of something I want to know for later in the movie.
Yeah,
Tyrese pulls a gun on Morbius, like, "I got you," and he gives up. And then it's like, so then you could just shoot this dude. So like later when we
Yeah.
have this super serum that's gonna cause a blood shock that's gonna kill both him and Matt Smith, that
Mhm.
this kind of cure, the suicide cure. Why not just fucking shoot the dude? Like,
Yeah.
And also, how about just don't run? I know they want to inject some more action, but this goes nowhere. There's no real action here. Some people shoot some bullets at him as he's jumping up the Guggenheim stairs, but nothing really happens. And then once he's in the cell, he's like, well, maybe I belong there. Maybe he should have had that realization earlier and just went willingly.
It does feel like a throwback to the time when we were doing superhero movies that were just about what are the powers?
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
see all the powers. Because like the Matt Smith does not matter as a villain.
Nope.
Do not fucking try to tell me otherwise.
He doesn't. Honestly, it's disappointing. There should be something else going on.
Here's
You
the
would
thing.
think.
we kvetch day in and day out about like, oh man, another training, this and that, blah blah blah. But like, I'm sorry, when at one point in this movie a subway is coming and Jared Leto is kind of like just sniffing the air and then just starts flying, I guess also on wind.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
I
That was
have to
confusing.
see him figuring this out somewhere other than the
Yes.
start of a chase scene. Like,
You're right.
and then he's just flying all over the place like Superman.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, right?
It's nuts.
Where's
It's-
the
vampires don't do that?
The vampires can fly. Draculas can. Well, I guess.
But
he-
like that's like
Yeah.
Superman. See, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Vampires need to be restrained, elegant, and sexy AF.
thank you.
He's flying kind of like new Batman is flying with the chipmunk suit.
Well, there's no squirrel suit
The
though.
squirrel
He's
suit,
just like bouncing all over Manhattan.
What would be a cool turn for this movie, which they don't do, which they do in the Marvel universe, which is why he's like so enmeshed with Blade and all these other vampires, is the idea, which is a cool idea, is like, no, vampires actually do exist in this world,
Yeah.
but I'm a different kind of vampire because I got mine through scientific powers,
Uh-huh.
and that's a cool kind of a conflict, right? And then
Totally,
like
yeah.
it's him versus it's Matt Smith isn't just another Morbius. He's actually a real vampire who's afraid of sunlight and garlic and all this shit.
Right.
And he's got to do this other stuff.
That's why those 70s that run of like Dracula where
Yeah.
he's him and like Blade is fighting like actual Dracula.
Yeah.
And it's a cool shit of like Blade, modern telling of the vampire
Yes.
lore, blah blah blah, and then like here's the historical
Sure.
whatever. It's something that makes it interesting.
I do wonder like how much the announcement that they were going to do the Blade movie
Yeah. Cut it.
affected this.
Yeah. Cut
And the
deals
script did swell. Like
Uh-huh.
I could imagine them doing like that would make so much more sense to make this about vampires
Yeah.
than about, two guys who like each
Two
other.
fake vampires, the two frenemies.
Essentially, yes. That's kind of it.
We are at the moment where I feel it is the lowest low point of dialogue in this
Ooh, I know where
movie.
you're going. I love it.
Because Jared Leto is in this jail cell. Tyrse and Madrigal are like trying to interrogate him about the murder of this nurse. And Leto's like starting to get the DT shakes and whatnot because he hasn't had his blue milk yet today. And he just goes, I'm getting hungry. You wouldn't like me when I'm
I
hungry.
could not
toilet
fucking
flush.
believe that fucking line of dialogue. And I guess you'd expect the audience would be like, woo!
Yeah.
They
Dude.
did the Hulk thing.
Dead silence in the theater except for me going, oh!
What about the weird fat guy in your theater? Did he do anything?
Dead silence.
And you go, yeah, yeah.
No, nothing. Even Popcorn Guy didn't like it.
Honestly, yes, I would like to see you hungry. More vampire stuff would be very nice in this movie, other than dicking around.
So he goes back to his cell. Matt Smith poses as his lawyer, and he goes inside of his cell. And there's this scene where it's just like, oh, Michael, we'll get you out of here one way or another.
I know
Here.
you're not capable of killing that woman.
Right.
Oh, don't quote the Notebook at me.
Yeah.
Oh, the
And
Notebook joke.
here's a bag of blood, and I'm gonna walk away like Kaiser Soze.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, yeah.
Oh.
Because you see him like, leave or whatever. And he's like, we'll get you out of here. Don't worry. And then like, yeah. Leto notices that like Matt Smith has left his cane behind, and you see a shot of his tennis shoe,
Yeah.
wearing feet
Yeah.
straighten out and then he's just fucking
All right, Mr.
dancing.
All right,
It's-
Mr. Myler, one cigarette lighter, gold.
One prophylactic used. No, actually not used for this character.
Did you see the vampire? The vampire zombie. Did you see him?
Which way did he go?
It is such a
Fax
deliberate.
comes through.
We're just doing the end of Usual Suspects in the middle of this movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Why not, dude? It
It's
works.
Oh
fucking
man.
crazy.
No, yeah. Oh, but if they had gone the vampire route, Bryan Singer as the king of the vampires.
Oh, dude. Put
True
a
to
stake
life.
through that dude's heart.
He's a real vampire.
But also like this is he's in like some super prison. Everyone's got like body armor and guns and like
oh yeah, it's the fucking jail from Face Off, dude. Where are the magnet boots?
Instead of Arkham, we have the Manhattan Detention Center. That's what it says.
But
Is that where they got Epstein?
he does.
Oh,
yeah,
maybe
I think you're right,
Yeah,
actually.
maybe.
Matt
That's
Smith
cool.
actually has a weird line. It's like, "Oh, you don't belong in here, Michael. This place is for terrorists and drug dealers." Terrorists? I don't like this.
I think it's terrorists and drug lords,
Okay.
and I was
Drug
like, "What
lords.
is going on in this New York?"
But also like everyone like they're like, "Time's up. Get out of there, other guy." And he's like, "Yes, I'll be right there." Huge bag of blood. I'd be like, "Sir, you dropped your enormous bag of
Yes.
blood. By the way, we definitely frisked you on the way in."
Yeah, totally. Oh, that's not mine.
Did he hide it like on his willy or something?
Yeah, bro.
Oh, that's just
Tallywhacker.
it's
Tallywhacker.
it's a trick bag. It's a Hawaiian punch in there. I just wanted to give him a nice treat.
Just wrap this bag of blood around my schlong.
Yes, but then it would have been great actually if Leto dropped the bag of blood like usual suspects when he pieces it together, because he's like, "But Kane, he took the other serum," and he drinks the blood. He gets really mad and flies out of his cell, and now Morbius is out into the middle of it.
And he's like jumping around the rooftops and whatnot. And this is like, this is where Matt Smith just kills this newsie.
Yeah,
Like this
Yeah.
guy who's like
the last newsy in New
The,
York. They got him.
the Daily Bugle, everyone.
Uh-huh. Oh wow,
That's
how
right.
Spider-Man worked.
Jameson's gonna be in pictures of Spider-Man.
Clever
headlines.
Oh my God, who cares? Who gives a shit?
There was, I mean, man, I gotta tell you, even in that Dollars Donkey Dick Eternals movie, there
Yeah.
was chittering in the theater.
Of course,
There was just nothing watching this
no,
movie.
dead
No.
silence. Some Snickers at the wrong time. That's
Oh,
it.
yeah.
sure.
But,
the wrong time, which was totally the right time, by the way.
But it's a Daily Bugle, like Michael Morbius, gotta get him. And this guy's like, yeah, finally put that creep down. It's like, well, don't you love him? He created artificial blood and saved millions of lives. Like, yeah, but look at that fucking weirdo. So it's weird legs or whatever he says.
And I think doesn't he say something like, well, he killed that nurse?
Yeah.
And then this is what like activates Matt Smith to be like, oh, you think he killed that nurse? Well, what if I told you I killed that nurse? And then again, he attacks this guy and we do not fucking see it.
We don't
We
see
hear
it.
Jared Leto hearing him scream through his weird mushroom ears.
I want to see like that fat newsie being drained of his blood behind like a garbage can. Some little kid sees it walking by. He's like, "Mommy, no."
It would have been like, you know what? It's set in Manhattan. Here's what you do. You're making this movie, pass it through the aesthetic filter of American Psycho.
yeah.
Yeah.
Give this
Sure.
movie that kind of a vibe.
A
If
better
he's-
Jared Leto movie.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, right. Like, if he's fucking around with that newsie, dude, yeah, there's your alleyway scene.
Uh-huh.
You could see it getting done.
Yeah.
But
But
we
you
can't not make movies for babies.
Yeah, you can't dump that on Disney Plus. That
Nope.
should piss people off.
Or Crackle, I guess.
They're having problems with the stupid fucking movie where the fucking girl gets her period and turns into a panda.
Pardon me?
Turning red.
Turning red, yes.
Wait. She bleeds.
No,
And then she
it's
turns
a
into-
metaphor.
It's a meta.
It's about puberty.
yes.
Okay.
And then everyone's like, really like, I don't think my child should know about puberty. And it's like,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
they're going
Okay.
to.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
You know,
oh, wait.
honestly,
not
this
up to
is-
you.
This is how you lead to fascism: is the parentification of everything.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything is through the lens of what about the children?
Let go
Literally
of your
everything.
pearls,
Not-
you fucking idiot.
Not even
Yeah.
what about the children? What about your imaginary version of the children?
Exactly. And then everything turns into grooming in quotation marks. You go,
Oh,
Jesus
what?
Yeah, okay.
fucking
Go
Christ.
fuck
And I'm sure
you.
all these kids are going to turn out great with all this fucking abstinence only. Don't look at the real world. Everything's fucking Marvel.
Well, the cool thing is there's never going to be a gay kid in Florida ever again. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's true.
They solved that problem.
Cured.
Oh man. Speaking of problems, this subway fight scene that we have here. And this is where I turned to you in the theater, Steven. I was like, where did they film this movie? Because this does not look like
It's the tube.
It's London.
It's
Yeah.
London. It's
Yeah.
very clearly London.
right. I was like, it's a little tube-esque for this New York subway system.
It's a good A train though. They got the real A train.
Sure. Yeah, and they got like the the font that we have and
Yeah.
the black and white
Yeah.
text and whatnot. Like
Yeah.
I get it, but good God.
Yeah, I did think it looked really off. And it said Front Street?
Yeah.
Front Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're, this is when they're having, and it's a very boring conflict, which is just like, you have to accept what we are, Michael. We're fucking vampires. And it's like, no, I never want to hurt anybody. And then they kind of fight each other. And then again, Matt Smith kills like 7 cops, which would be cool if there was any blood or something. And,
Yep. Just nothing.
And again,
here.
like I think the character design, like it's kind of weird the way, like I like I like the character design, but the implementation is wrong. It's kind of like watching 2 what do you call it, animatics fight each other, because like this is what it should look, this is what it will look like, but it'll look much better in the movie.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
like, oh
yeah.
no, it's the
Right,
movie.
yeah.
It's the first draft.
Yeah, exactly.
Not good.
And they fight each other, and this is the A train part where he flies away, and you're like, what?
He's just
So
flying in
we-
front of that train. I don't understand it.
Just prior to that, we do see some cops get killed. At least we show that. I know,
Sure.
even though it's bloodless as
Yeah.
well, it's just like, owie, I fall down.
But he just kind of beats him up, sort of
Yeah.
like really bad grade F Matrix fighting.
Yeah.
What is the like super teleporting power? Is that a thing in the comics?
I guess
too?
that he's going so fast.
I
It's
guess, is that what it looks like?
it's when you're-
Teleportation.
It's when you're playing a video game and you're moving along and you hit forward twice really fast and just kind of darts a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure, yeah.
we do get some fucking honest to goodness bullet time as well. I was shocked that dusted that one off.
Jesus Christ. What are we even thinking?
And then we remember that there's a woman in this movie. You're like, oh, I guess we should give her something to do. So he has coffee with her, and he kind of explains, like, I didn't kill the nurse. He killed the nurse. And then now this counterfeiting C plot. where
Well,
this-
so this is just because I told you, Eric, that we would get to it. This is where
oh yeah,
they're sitting at the diner and she goes to like hold his hand and his hand goes in front of a ray of sunlight and she's like, oh, sorry. And he goes, no, it's all right. Not that kind of vampire. Oh, suck it. This is one of the worst scripts of the year.
Yeah, the interesting kind of vampire. Yeah, no, it's not like
definitely not.
all the cool
Oh.
rules that they have. No,
but this counterfeiting thing.
it is. Who cares?
Who cares? It's just like
Big.
It's also it's the whole thing exists so that he can set up another lab because he can't go back to the big corporate lab.
In another lab in what looks like mostly like a graphic design office.
and also like you can't just re-rig a printing press to turn into a blood fucking thing.
Well, no, because we are told in the beginning and in Greece, we see that he's MacGyver.
Oh, of
Because
course.
he MacGyver's
Yeah.
what they're
A
using
blood
to make
machine.
a centrifuge.
You
Yeah.
did it with a ballpoint pen.
Yes, yeah. totally.
Michael, remember I'm in this movie, Jared Harris.
It's so
I don't.
funny. He hears these dudes walk up to the counter and there's a woman working at the counter and they're like, hey, can you break this for us or whatever? And she does the little pen and she's like, sorry, this is fake. And he's like, oh, why don't you try this one? And while you're at it, take this one for yourself. Like just trying to pass these bad hundos. And his ears sort of prick up and he just follows these 2 dudes. And yes, weird graphic design office. They're like watching TV while making shit here, making their fake bills. And he comes in all like cool as shit. Like, you guys can keep all the money. I'm just going to keep the equipment and you're going to get the fuck out of here. And then
It's like
whatever.
there's 26 bones in your hand and he's breaking them or whatever. And he also says, finally, the stinky pinky.
Ooh, wow.
Stinky
that's-
pinky.
Another dud line because he's like, I want your whole printing press. Leave the bag of spicy Cheetos.
Oh, right.
Morbius gets down with spicy Cheetos.
Yeah. And you know what,
Isn't
man?
this fun, kids?
Like we were all bumming that Bruce Willis has to retire, but dude, with quips like this,
Yes, yeah.
we'll still have quips in the world. Thank you, Jared Leto. What a hilarious, dirty, fucking spicy Cheetos line.
But that's the disgusting thing is you just know Jared Leto's never had a spicy
Oh, of
Cheeto
course
in his
not.
Oh,
fucking
no,
life,
totally.
not once.
No,
But
totally.
the other thing too,
Do Cheetos come in cucumber? Then he might be into it.
you know what, dude? If they do, I don't want to fucking know about it.
Yeah,
The-
this is why Oscar Isaac is better at Moon Knight, because there's that photo of him eating Cheetos.
Oh, with the
Did you see it?
chopsticks.
With chopsticks, which
Yeah.
I've done since, and it is a delight.
Wonderful.
Oh my God, that is what the phrase life hack was invented for.
Exactly.
Yeah, well,
'Cause
I-
that's a life hack and a half.
Because honestly, I saw Ad Astra, and I got the only time I ever got this flaming hot popcorn. It was a flaming hot
Oh,
Cheeto
Jesus.
popcorn.
Oh, they don't even
I
allow
like-
that up by now.
I got to third base with the Easter Bunny afterwards, man. My hands were not. I had to really figure something out.
Uh-huh.
Dude, I don't think I've ever actually had a spicy Cheeto. I've had the spicy taquitos or the
Mm.
Takis.
Takis, yeah.
Got it.
I like the
Dude,
spicy Cheetos.
I
They're good.
thought, listen, not to get too gross, but like this movie isn't gross, so we got to have gross somewhere.
Sure.
I thought my asshole was gonna fall out of my body. Sure, with these spicy Takis, dude. This is toxic food we're putting in our bodies here.
The one line that is actually it's in the newer trailers, but actually is not in this movie. Is he says it to this guy who's breaking his hand? He's like, the guy's like, "Who are you, man?" And he's like, "I'm Venom." And then he says, "No, Michael Morbius. How you doing?" That's in the trailer. That's not in this movie.
No.
It's really, and which I'm glad because it's terrible in the trailer, but it's also like, what the?
I mean, if that was in the movie, that's a real like. Please remember, this is a whole universe. We're really, folks. We're really trying to glue something together.
We're working on it, folks. Okay.
Al Madrigal does have a line when he sees the ship with all the blood in it. He's like, "Oh man, I haven't seen anything this bad since whatever that stuff that happened in San Francisco."
The one with the venom and the red venom.
Well, so
right.
both
I
of
was
those
like, what is
Venom-
that? I was like, there was like Godzilla. What's happening?
Both of those Venom movies
okay.
are Bay Area set because I only saw the first one.
Yeah.
The second one I also saw. I couldn't tell you a lick about it. And it was terrible. At least that's my memory.
No, yeah, it's not very good.
But is Al Madrigal like a cop there?
No,
too?
he's not.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
believe so.
They just want to just
It's something
say-
I read on the news. I don't know. Whatever.
But so he takes over this printing press, and now the cops go into Martine's apartment, and literally like they go in this apartment and looking for somebody. I'm like, who are they looking for? And you realize it's Martine, and I'm like, oh yeah, because she's not a character. And
She's not a character.
We've never seen this apartment before.
Nope.
Which you need to do if someone breaks into it, right?
Yeah, that
But
would be
the
nice.
funniest thing is they just go in and they're like, well, she's not here. And like Madrigal's shaking this litter box. I guess, you know, like how you like pan for gold, you know, he's like, well, no turds in here. So the cat hasn't been
He
here in a
starts
while.
eating it. Nothing. No, it's dry, Jack.
Clean. It's clean.
And then it cuts to her with the cat and Morbius in what looks like an art installation. There's like these lights in grass and fucking like. Did you anybody remember this scene?
Yes, I mean, I guess this is what he did to the printing press place. He just turned it into like a.
He spruced it up a little
Yeah, I
bit.
think so.
I put a bunch of trees in here and dirt.
What a weird thing to do for your hideout.
And she cuts herself on a cat food lit booth. That's a bad cut, by the way. That's a
Yeah.
been there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just because those cans can just go right through.
Those
you.
little like pull top
Yeah,
tab
yeah, those
things.
go right
Really? I
Yikes.
don't think I've ever cut myself on one of those, but I hope to one day.
It's a bleeder, dude. But so like she starts bleeding, and then Morbius is like, "Oh, blood!" And this is like the only time this movie's like maybe a sexy woman and a sexy dude in a vampire movie.
No.
Something could
Stop.
Wouldn't you think of the kids? A movie like that should be illegal in Florida.
And they just kiss. They just barely.
Dude,
you
this is
know what?
like-
It better be their wedding day.
It's a Barbie and Ken doll having their heads smashed together by a 5-year-old child.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It is the
That's
most
sexier, what you just described.
it is like the most unsexy, emotionless kiss. It looks like she even kind of like hesitates for a second to put her mouth on his.
Yeah,
like,
Jared Leto though. That's why.
Yeah. Because this movie is about being bisexual. This movie kind of being about being bisexual.
Well, because a lot of it. I mean, even when. Because in the next scene, it's like,
The
oh
blue
no,
and
Matt,
red shit that they're always
Matt
talking about.
Smith is straight, everybody, and he's just like dancing. I mean, I know
He
Matt
has-
Smith is straight or whatever. Maybe he's not, but like the character Lucian Milo is not straight. And so much of, to Chris's point, like the thing is like later on in the movie, even Jared Harris is like, you have to accept yourself, and I'm like,
Yes.
I know what that means.
Wait, so is
Yeah.
the character in the comics? Is that a character in the comics? And is he?
He
not
apparently
straight?
is. He apparently is. But this movie, like they're just like in love with each other.
Yeah.
That's very true. Yeah.
And if that is true, and it's fine to make a movie about that, I need more fucking hot Jared Leto chest.
Sure.
That's the
I
thing,
need
it's like,
Matt
by the
Smith
way,
chest. I
Yeah.
need something
Gay
here.
vampires could be hot as fuck, and they can be hot as
Absolutely.
fuck together, and that would be an interesting
A
avenue
little
to go
movie
down.
called Interview with the Vampire.
Yes,
And-
exactly.
All you get of that is this fucking horrid bar scene with Matt Smith
dude.
and this girl that he buys a drink for with these two like soccer hooligans.
I don't
that
no, they are finance bros.
Oh, they're fine.
dude.
Oh yeah, because they
Absolutely.
make a point later, like Wall Street bros who were killed in the parking lot.
Yep,
Uh-huh.
totally.
We are. Y'all watch Joker, right? Yeah, he's like Joker.
This whole thing, it's like it was interesting enough to start out with this bar thing. Okay, this is interesting. Where are we going with this? oh, they're insulting him. There's going to be a big fight. No. He's leaving now. Oh, it's going to be a nothing fight in the parking lot. That's going to be barely visible later. Okay, cool.
All you get is like you see the dudes like leaving the bar, hours later, they're all wasted, and like Matt Smith is up high somewhere, and it's like POV dropping down on those dudes. And then the only time you actually see it is when Tyrse is reviewing security camera
Exactly.
footage.
I see a bar fight. You wouldn't even let you tease the bar fight. You wouldn't even give me a bar fight.
Like a vampire bar fight, like some guy's like, come on, do something. He like literally punches his head off. And it's like, holy shit, that's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
It would be super cool. But
Could be a movie.
alas.
Get like a collateral scene, like a strobe light, and it's in the middle of the crowd. That's easy work. You can get stunt people to do that
He
shit.
could take out this whole club, and it could be sort of like a Blade movie in a way.
Yeah.
You know?
Ooh.
And then it's like, oh man, 50 dead at the fucking the
Exactly.
club, whatever, and vampire on the loose.
Oh, and you know what? You do that, you come home with the Donald Logue.
Yep.
You come home and he can take care of all of your stuff at home.
Oh, I thought you meant that Milo is now played by Donald Logue because he's gained so much pounds from drinking the entire club's worth of blood.
Dude, we were referencing Lost Highway the other day, and I feel like if this movie, like Matt Smith was just like, oh, my stomach, and like doubled over, and then when he sat back up, it was just fucking Donald Logue.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Better
Beautiful.
movie. But so now everyone's like, oh, now there's two vampires on the loose. And this is when Morbius defines his ill. Again, like, we don't think that these guys are invincible because they haven't been. He's like, the only way to kill him is this crazy serum I concocted. It's going to kill him. And it's also going to kill me. And she's like, no, you can't kill yourself because, I don't know, we kissed that time, I guess.
And fucking in a goddamn, the MCU, one thing, everybody gets a cool name.
Sure.
I like all that shit. What do they call Matt Smith? The Vampire Murderer.
Man.
That sounds like what you call Van Helsing.
Yeah, I'm like, what? No.
The character's name, apparently, that he was supposed to sort of be based on, even though like that they changed everything about him, was Lucian something / Hunger. That was his like kind of vampire name, which is kind of a cool name.
Why
Yeah,
wouldn't
sure.
you just do it?
Call him Hunger.
Why would you change it?
I'm Hunger now. All I do is hunger.
Like, you
That's
can
it.
do that.
It's
You can
easy.
totally do it.
I just wrote that line. That's it. That's it.
Yeah. Instead, the villain of this
Eh.
movie, Milo.
I don't know. That sounds interesting. Better scrap it.
Ah, yes, famed dangerous villain, Milo.
So Jared Leto, Jared Harris, too many Jareds here, man, was watching TV and realizes Matt Smith's a vampire. He goes to him, and he also remembers that he's in that movie. You got like 14 texts, like, dude, you're supposed to be in Morbius right now. Oh shit! He's like
when-
watching a football match. Fuck! I'm in Morbius.
When he fucking shows up, dude, at the apartment, I was like, oh yeah, you're in
Because
this movie.
you have not seen him for an hour.
Oh, God.
Nope.
And then in the and then this is pretty sparse dialogue for him too. He's like, I've devoted my life to you. And then Matt Smith something like, oh, but now you're repulsed by me, so I'm gonna scrape your tummy with my cocaine fingernails.
That's it. And like, yeah, he's like, oh, my Morbius was always Daddy's favorite. It's like, well, I don't know. I've asked you many times not to call me Daddy. It's a little weird.
and you're kind of proving my point at this point.
Yes.
I mean, look where we are.
Yes. I mean, he's not actively murdering people,
So, I mean, I think I bet the right horse there. Backed him well.
So he stabs him in the tummy, like Eric said, and there's just black slot. It's like Venom got him. Like, it's just like black splotches all over his stomach.
It's so bad. Like, just put blood in this movie. God damn.
And you think, and I mean, the way this scene works, because Morbius gets called by Jared Harris, he has to fly, because again, Jared has to not have a name in this movie, has to fly and try and save him. The last lines of Jared Harris need to mean something, which is something like, oh, you thought your dad was this guy, but it's this guy. Or, like
Yeah.
when you were in the orphanage, like something.
You have
meaty.
truly become sinister.
That would be something, but he's just like, you've got to get Milo. And I'm like, yeah, I got that one, dude. Figured that one out all by myself.
I could not even believe, like, that's pretty much the last line. And he croaks, and you're just like, what were you in this for, man?
Money.
Yeah,
Money.
Bathroom retiling, seriously. So at some point around here, like, Milo has gone to Martine and was like, hey, do you know where Morbius is? Milo, Martine, and Morbius, by the way, this is one of the worst fucking screenplays in a while.
Yes.
And she's like, no, I wouldn't lie to you, Milo. I don't know where he is. And he's like, okay. And then like basically like kidnaps her, puts her on this roof thing.
There's been a clock on this lady's head for the kidnapping. You know
Yeah.
when the third act is coming at Alamo when they give you a check. You know when the third act is coming in this movie when she gets kidnapped.
And like, so he sort of like attacks her, injures her in some way that she starts screaming. So then like his bat hearing, he starts like flying to save her, whatever.
And now that Morbius is like fully like at peace with himself and ready to go and fight Matt Smith, he finally has a purple cloak.
Yeah.
When it's been orange and all other kinds of shit before. And he's finally reconciling the blue artificial blood and the real red blood into purple.
Those semiotics, dude. I like that.
And now, just like the Stalked by My Doctor movies, he's got a syringe that he hopes to
Yes.
get people with.
Deadly syringe.
And he's going to eventually do it to himself or whatever. He tells Martine that it's like, it's up, you know, I brought this into the world. It's up to me to take it out. And then we kind of move towards our fucking big nothing fight.
Because we watched the movie Blade before this, so he bites her he feeds on her to get enough strength to kill Milo, but
he
then
also drops a bit of his blood in her mouth, though.
But I think he does it by accident, or maybe he doesn't. I don't know.
Is she becoming a vampire?
But that's-
Oh yeah, she does, dude.
That's
wow.
She,
Holy shit.
she
Let's
wakes
check.
up like from the dead,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
That's like kind of the end of the movie.
Yeah.
she's got like fucked up eyes.
I
and
think I
whatnot.
might have been looking at my phone taking notes.
She's going to become the next bat tender at his house.
But then, yeah, I mean, like this is the big fight that, and like
It happens in a sewer.
and you know what,
It
dude?
happens in a. What am I looking at?
It happens.
I mean, and this reminds me very much, Eric, because you're the only one, or maybe Chris, you saw this too. Venom v Carnage was a totally undecipherable fight.
I
Yep,
could not.
Yep,
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
yep.
just, and this is very the
So-
same thing.
Well,
It's it's very goopy. It's very all over the place, and people are tumbling.
and Venom and Carnage did the same thing where they occasionally just freeze frame it,
Yes.
and you get some sense of where the action's supposed to be,
Unbelievable.
and then it goes back to it.
And that's what this
Dog
fight is.
shit.
It takes fucking 10 minutes, barely. And then, like, yeah, they find themselves in some basement. Morbius is kind of wounded from whatever happened in the middle of this fight.
They
And
sort of
then-
like fall through a bunch of layers of like construction, scaffolding, and gravel, and
Mm-hmm.
concrete. They blow through the Ninja Turtles house at one point.
Whoa!
Holy shit! Those look like fake vampires.
They took all pizza with them.
And then
yeah.
he's like kind of Morbius is sort of like down for the count, I guess. Yeah, because he got like totally body slammed or whatever, and he puts his hand like in some water and something. He calls this army of bats.
Which
Okay.
yeah, and then like once Matt Smith gets like down for the because the bats, he harnesses the bats and throws them at Matt Smith,
Yeah.
and then he stabs him in a stake through the heart with a syringe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then there's this dialogue where Milo's like, "You can't kill me, Mr. Morbius. Remember the good times.
Remember when you saved me from those Greek children beating me up? Oh wait, you had gone off to your fancy prep school by then.
Look inside your heart, Jared Leto. Look inside your heart.
But he even says, like, you gave me my name. Remember, you're the one that said Milo and kind of ruined my life, actually. I had enough problems with the blood disease. Now everyone calls me fucking Milo.
I still don't understand why he would do that.
And when he dies, Jared Leto is like, goodbye, Lucian. It's like, oh, wow, cool.
Wow,
Not really.
nice.
And
Yeah.
at that moment, since I still was just not understanding it, I was like, so Milo's been the last name? I don't know what's going on. Also, though, one of the funnier parts of the movie, we both had a big belly laugh at this, when the wave of bats is like running into Matt Smith and they're like biting him and shit, and he's screaming. That is some hilarious
Yes.
stuff. He's like, ah, 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 ah. Oh, it's fucking great.
I wish there had been like a flashback to Morbius's parents dying and like necklace of rubies just being ripped from mother's neck.
But yeah, I mean, that's the fight. And then like you see Martine wake up and Jared Leto's like kind of looking at the camera like, what else you want from me? And then the credits hit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the movie. And that's when I was like, is that fucking it? I screamed it in the theater.
Where's Michael Keaton? What happened with
Oh
Michael
well,
Keaton?
here he is. We talked about it earlier.
Yes.
It's just, it's astonishing. Like, who could want this movie A, in this format, A, at all, but like B, in this format again, like the point
Yeah.
of a vampire, there's got to be blood, there's got to be sex, there's got to be something.
Yep.
And also, the trailer made you think Michael Keaton was going to be part of, at least like
It's insane.
somehow like very clearly that's what they were telling you
Yes.
in the trailer.
Yes, oh, for sure. Like,
Yeah, I mean, he could have partnered with Milo or something initially, and then
At
we could
any
have gotten
Yep.
you know, like that way you can have like Milo was better than he is in this movie, and he was kind of corrupted a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Jared Harris has to take care of Milo on the go, so he needs Vulture's flying pack to go and make sure and wipe his ass as he fights and eats people.
But
I
it's
need
also-
wings to wipe Master Milo's ass.
Yeah, but it's sort of astonishing, though. This has never happened because obviously there's nothing in this movie that would attract fans. They use the stinger in the trailer, which is insane. And then like you sit, and I think that's why everyone in my theater, our theater at the very least, was like, oh, so that's the stinger? Like the whole movie that like
Yeah.
I kind of expected is
Yep.
only a stinger?
Yep.
It's wild. I think this is the first that's ever happened. It's I mean, it
Because
is
usually the stinger is kept under wraps. Like the whole
of
point.
course,
It's like, oh,
what's
what's
the
it's
fucking
like-
point of them?
I mean, they're stupid anyway, but that's usually the point.
Absolutely. Like if you had like the Winter Soldier in that Bacta tank in Wakanda as the trailer for that fucking movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I mean, this is truly a new low.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
for this shit. It is
I would say.
truly a new low. And on that note, that is the fucking end of this total cinematic do catastrophe. Final thoughts. We'll save Steve for last because he's our Marvel guy. Go to Eric Sisko.
All right. Morbius. Wish it was lesbius. That's my entire review. I would not recommend it. This movie is not good.
Excellent. Chris Cavan.
I said it when big no, of course, right up front.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely do not see this movie. But I was texting you guys last night. I am like, it is already gone. Whatever.
I
it-
was watching all the purple wisps falling
It
out of your
just-
body as we were talking about
It
the
just
movie.
was at the minute we got done. I was like, "Oh, this thing's leaving quick.
It's
like
a nothing movie.
Leaving
this,
quick.
this is not staying around.
No room at the
all.
inn for this plot.
I really have to like. I was like, thank God I took fucking notes because this really is gonna just be gone immediately. And
Yeah.
like, there's nothing here, nothing
Yeah.
here at all.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to say anything new. I think, this movie, I don't know, it's kind of like a big pile of guano, wouldn't you say?
Nice.
Guano! A source of nitrate.
It's just a waste of time, man. I mean, I really wish they would stick to characters that
People know.
people know that people like that,
Mhm.
and also, you know what that would make? Less movies because there's
Yeah, that'd
there's
be
less of
nice.
those
Yeah.
characters.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because when you start to scrape the bottom of the barrel like this, you're gonna get shit like this where the actor doesn't care, where the director doesn't care, where nobody cares, and like when you ask people why they made this movie, like I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, and then just and that's kind of what it is. Like everybody
Yeah.
just sort of is standing around. Like Matt Smith, I guess, tried. I think the girl what's her name?
Oh, the woman who
Martine?
played Martine.
The actress who played Martine is trying. You know what I mean? And that's it. Everybody else doesn't give a shit. Everybody else is just sort of holding water for the next thing, and the next thing's never gonna happen. There's never. You think you're gonna see fucking Jared Leto as Michael fucking Morbius again? I will eat my fucking
Ooh.
hat.
Yeah,
Whenever
I
the
don't
next
know.
blink happens, he'll die first.
Yeah.
If they do a Sinister Six movie and they get Keaton in there and maybe they round it out with some big names, I could see them throwing him in.
Yeah, I guess so.
I will see that Sinister Six movie when I see the Flash movie. It's just, I don't think it's happening. I really don't.
That's I mean that. Well, the Flash movie will only come out if Ezra Miller gets out of fucking jail.
Right.
Yeah, can that dude stop getting arrested?
No.
No.
The
Violence?
answer to that is no.
Did they film that movie at all yet?
It seems like they did. It was supposed to come out this year ish, and then they were like, nah.
One of the 73 directors that have been attached to it had to direct it.
Oh, well, Ezra Miller kept insulting every one of them. So
Adria Arjona is the
Yeah.
name of the
And she's, I
actress
think,
who
yeah,
plays
she's
Martine.
got some like energy, like but
Pretty magnetic.
that's it.
Yep, that is
Yep.
totally it. And that is it for this conversation about Daniel Espinosa's Morbius, ladies and gentlemen. If you want more We Hate Movies, of course, check out patreon.com/We Hate Movies. We got a really fun time WLM out this month on the Last Action Hero motion picture.
Tons of fun. We recently just put up a syncable commentary track to Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, which is a lot of fun conversation and taking the wind out of that piece of shit transphobe J.K. Rowling.
And we're going to have a once in a lifetime on Stalked by My Doctor, A Patient's Revenge, aka for Steven, Stalked by My Doctor 3.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's right. We have done not all three. My God, it'll bite my tongue. I hope there's 70 of these things.
There's two more of them that we'll get to.
This will be our third episode on the Stalked by My Doctor franchise, and you can check out all those past episodes, because when you unlock content on Patreon, it's not just this month's offering, gang, it's everything we've ever done.
And for you Morbius heads out there, we will be reviewing the Spider-Man episode where Morbius is introduced with, and I don't want to spoil it for Eric and Chris because it's really wild, with on Animation Damnation.
There it is. That's the name of the program.
Yeah, thank you.
So all that and more over on the Patreon. And of course, here on the main feed, the show does continue next Tuesday, a brand spanking new episode. What will we be offering up then, Steve?
You know, a little treat for all you folks. You had to sit through Morbius this week. We're going back to Arnoldtown, and one of his most insane movies, it's Junior.
Oh, Danny, you're gonna get wet.
Danny, get that out of me.
This is, of course, the live show that we did last year, the Orange Peel in Asheville, North Carolina.
It was a ton of fun, and I think you guys are gonna have a lot of fun listening to it.
And if you like live shows, we're on the road this month in Boston, Washington, D.C., and Philadelphia at the end of the month. Check that out on whmpodcast.com/tour.
That's right. So until next week with Arnold having a baby, I'm Andrew Jupin.
Steven Sadak.
Eric Siska.
Chris Cabin.
Take it easy.
That was a HeadGum podcast.